What's up? What's up?
PowWow time. What's cracking, AI?
Oh, feeling pretty good tonight, man. We got some. It's a big night. We got some announcements to make, and got a.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks. It's Tuesday. You know
Hey.
what time it is.
What's up? What's up?
PowWow time. What's cracking, AI?
Oh, feeling pretty good tonight, man. We got some. It's a big night. We got some announcements to make, and got ourselves a special guest on. So it's about to be a pretty dope episode.
Yeah, I'm excited about it,
Yeah.
man, because we got some stuff in the works. It just keeps going to it. So, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks. This doesn't sound right to me either.
Something seems off. I sound.
You sound all
good.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
All
I
right,
think
cool.
I think
What's
I'm
going
good.
on, everybody? It's
Yeah.
your boy Jay Banks. Another episode of the PowWow. What's cracking, AI? How
Hey,
you feeling?
feeling great, man. Feeling great. Stoked to hear what this guest has to say. I was overhearing what you guys were talking about off camera, and I'm pretty stoked because I'm in the industry myself, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of this dude for a while, man. So I can't remember the first time that we actually had a chance to meet, but I've been a fan of you since we had the store back in Dayton, Kentucky, the small store that I first started. Man, it came out. You copped that orange jacket, bro. That's like a relic now, dude.
Yep.
So without any
Further ado.
yeah, Graval Baehr. What's cracking, homie? Yeah.
Hey.
First and foremost, thank you guys for hosting me. This is a great location, great store. I like the setup you guys have.
Yeah, appreciate you, bro, and especially coming from you, man. Donuts and alcohol, I've always been a fan of. When you guys were getting that together, I was like, dude, like, they got it, bro. It's like you guys had the momentum running, and you and who was the original co-host? The guy
Tatum.
Yeah. You guys had a great relationship on stage, bro. So I got a chance to be interviewed with Donuts and Alcohol.
Never aired.
Never aired, bro. That's like lost footage now.
It was like one of the three that we filmed at this place called the Felsen House, and the owner there is just whatever. He put us in this room, no air conditioning, so
It was
middle
so
of
hot,
July. Yeah, we're sweating on screen and stuff, and basically our engineer, his computer overheated, and we lost the Jay Banks interview. Which had some gems in it. You were giving out codes for some discounts on clothing and
Oh,
stuff.
shit.
And then there was a Lantana one that we missed.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure he cussed so much in that interview. He dropped so many F-bombs.
Yeah.
And he came up to me afterwards and was like, "You deleted that video because I cussed so much in it, didn't you?" And I'm like, "No, we legitimately lost it."
That's funny, bro. And honestly, when mine didn't get aired too, I was like, you know what, bro? I bet you. Who was the guy? Tony P.
Oh God.
I was like, I bet you he just deleted the sound, bro. Like, cause I had a little bit of beef with College Beats after they were trying to get some shirts made or something, and it went south. With not Tony, I still like Anthony. But I haven't seen or heard of him in a couple years, bro. It's like he went out to that compound out there and kind of just laid up and hung out there. But
One of the goofiest guys I've ever met, but he means well, and I think that's how we met, was probably through College Beats. Through,
Okay.
Tony and Trevor, probably.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's probably where.
okay, dope. Yeah, dude. So like I said, I still remember you coming in, and the picture still pops up on like all my Amazon accounts. When you stopped in and picked up that orange jacket, bro.
Yeah.
It's wild because I only made 12 of those, right? And it's It took me forever to sell them, bro. Like, probably took me like 2 months to sell 12 jackets. And now everybody asks about it. Everyone's like,
the Bengals are popping now.
dude, I mean, that jacket's just incredible, man. And people are like, where can I get it? Can I still get that? I'm like, bro, that's like an old school drop. Like, you'll never be able to get those again. Like, that's something that I did way back in the day. So the people that get them, like, I think San Ladino's got 2 jackets. And I told him, I was like, bro, you could probably resell that for way more than what you paid for it now at this point.
Go sit outside the Paycor right now, because every game I wear that to, I at least have 2 or 3 people come up to me like, where did you get that, man? Where'd you get that?
That's awesome,
I gotta hit
bro.
them with it's a 1 in 12, dog, and they've been sold out for years.
Yeah, and that's the best part about the store, man. I kind of feel like that's one of the reasons why we are where we are, is because everything's very limited, and with this brain, I can just keep coming up with new ideas and designs. So it's like I'm not pigeonholed to hold on to a logo and keep just ringing it for every piece of sweat that's in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So for us, we can do limited stuff and then move on.
Catch us while you can. If
Yeah.
you can catch us, then you want to catch the next one and the next one, and that's where the it's not even pivoting. That's where like the bulk of it comes from.
For sure.
Really, like, I mean, you could pivot, like try new logos, but like some logos come back, but they might be varied, like varied, and also different color clothing. So like stuff comes back, but you may not get that OG piece. So that's the beauty of it too, because like, I mean, we're always reinventing ourselves. So like that is literally reinventation like it's reinventing literally within the brand, and that is very difficult to achieve. And we're doing, like, I mean, the way you used to move compared to the way you move now, like, are just, it's like an upgraded version, but it's in one place.
Yeah, for
Rather
sure.
than having to like go out and find your food in the public, the food's coming to you. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
it's a different ball game. But the level of difficulty has been raised. The bar's raised now, because the stuff that you've done before can't necessarily redo it, but you can get better, and you have. And like, I've seen it from the beginning. Is like, I was like, I see it all over the place, but I didn't fully understand it at first. I was like, all right, native, that's cool, yeah. And then I was like, I didn't think like it's like a Supreme, or it's like a this, or it's like a that. I was just like, oh, local brand. Oh, it's everywhere. Everyone that's coming in the bowling alley is wearing this all the time. I was like, his movements must be I mean, they were happening right in front of my face.
Plugging away, bro.
Yeah, I'm sober. Like, I'm not at that place drinking. I'm working the desk, and I'm just watching every person come in. I'm like, wow. Like, he was just here. I just saw him like last week, and then you come back in again. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I could see the hustle in real time. Like, it was amazing, because no one's watching the door like I'm watching it. So like,
Right.
I'm seeing these people come in, get ID'd and all that stuff, and like, so much native. And I was just, and that was before anything took off. That was pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
bro. I used to just go out on Mondays. I would go down to Service Industry Night, or I'd hit Mint on Sundays down there, and I would just carry my backpack full of hats, and I would just sell what I had, and then I would go home, bro.
And they would wear it
Yeah.
to the same location that they bought it the week before. No shame in their game. Like, they were gonna rock it where they bought it the week before, and it was dope. It was
Yeah,
impressive,
it was.
man. Yeah.
It's cool, man, because and as an artist, like, you never know what designs people are gonna like, right? So the native logo, it's so simple and clean. It ended up kind of turning into like the Corvette wave, or like, if you got a Mini Cooper, how everyone's like, hey, like, fucking.
Yeah, if you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's it's cool to see too, man, because that's, like I said, the design is clean. There's not like a bunch of cheese conies for Cincy on there, or hot dogs for another city. It's like, it's just clean, and if you know what area code is, then you know exactly where it's from.
Yep.
So.
You can even put 2 and 2 together, even if you don't even never know the brand. Like, native, but that 513 Cincinnati, native of Cincinnati, like, it's literally built in.
Right.
It's pretty.
You know what else works well together, dude? Donuts and alcohol.
Sure does.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I am curious, on air, where did the name come from?
It's not a crazy story, but we used to film each season all in like 1 or 2 days, just
Smart.
because of resources and everyone's schedule. So literally the first season, we're sitting there, we're about 2 or 3 episodes deep into filming, we still don't have a name yet. We're like, dude, we need to come up with a name. It just needs to come. And my co-host at the time, Tatum, he's literally looking around the room, just looking around, naming shit off. And we had this like immaculate spread of like alcohol and fruit and pastries and stuff, and he just alcohol and donuts, and then he falls on donuts and alcohol, and like with his like accent or whatever, like in a little Midwest accent,
Sure.
said alcohol, not alcohol.
Alcohol.
So I was like,
Alcohol.
we got to keep alcohol. Like that adds that little like flair, that little attitude to it, and it's kind of stuck. It's kind of a silly name, but like it definitely caught people's attention.
Sure.
And the colors, like the pink and blue, like it worked out well together.
Cool.
And it's
Yeah,
basically like what our show was about. You come sit down, eat some donuts, drink some alcohol, shoot the breeze.
Cool. Yeah.
That's fine. I thought he was going to say something like, we've been there all day, like we were eating donuts in the morning, and by the end of it, we were drunk on alcohol.
Yeah,
So he's like,
maybe.
well, shit.
Breakfast
I
to
mean,
dinner. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So how was interviewing a bunch of people in one day? Is it exhausting, bro? Because like a lot of people think that the podcasting, like, oh, it's so much fun, but like being on this side, like it's exhausting at times, right? Because it's like some days you're like, man, I'm not in the zone to want to pick this guy's brain and trying to figure out like what he wants to get across the table, right? So
Because you got to dive. We dive in. We're diving
Right.
into interview. Like I'm all for interviews. I've done interviews similarly to what you're doing. So like the vein is the same, but like it's coming up with the energy to match them and
Oh, yeah.
keep that going, because it's not on them to carry the conversation. They're basically reacting to our acting, so our actions. So like always having an action on top of an action on
You
another
gotta be
action.
a couple steps ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So that energy that it takes is not for. I mean, definitely not for the faint of heart, not for the weak, really, because you have to come at it constantly. And people are like, "Oh, you're so relaxed." Like when we're up here, yeah, we're in chairs, yeah, we're sitting comfortably, we are drinking, we are having a good time, but when it comes down to preparation or just the execution of the interview to make it for the guest to feel comfortable, because you're sitting here to 2 to 3 hours, and when you're sitting,
by the way, whenever we got to wrap up, I don't know if you got
Yeah,
things
yeah.
to do. We don't have to go all the way till 10 if you
I'm
don't
good
need
to
to.
like 9, 10 around there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's such a long time, you know what I mean? And people, the artist isn't always ready for that. But we, as the host, have to keep that energy going for them so they don't feel like they're sitting for 2 to 3 hours. When they're done, most every time they're like, that did not feel like that long.
Right.
And that is like the best compliment, I think,
Right.
that we
For
can
sure.
get, in my opinion.
And the worst is when we're 40 minutes in and we're like, we run out of things to talk about, bro. Or it's just like, oh yeah, so what do you got going on this week?
Right. And then we could always double down and talk about Levy life too. So we can always pivot to what are around our, around us. So, but like,
Yeah, ours was a little more, I guess, focused. It wasn't so much like a podcast like people kind of thought. It was more like an interview series. So
For sure.
the harder part about it was we're giving some of these artists their first interview ever, so they don't know what to expect. They don't really know how to act or the proper way to go about it. So that's kind of hard when they're not really elaborating on the answers, or they don't know when to stop. A lot of people just run on and on and on, and like it's for you guys, I'm sure sometimes it's hard to like, okay, this guy's just fucking go. Can I cuss? Or,
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
bro.
My bad.
yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, like they just keep going on and rambling, and you got to step in and be like,
You gotta
reel 'em in.
reel it in.
So
reel them in, bro.
that was pretty difficult, and I mean just the money and the time and everything and the scheduling for Donuts and Alcohol. Basically, it was me and Tatum came up with it, but I was more of the I would book everybody, book studio time, put the money behind it, pretty much everything besides the video and audio editing. So I understand that stuff very hard and takes a lot of time, but from where I was coming from, I was just setting everything up, and like it's hard. I mean, everyone's got stuff going on, so
Right.
it's just find that perfect time for everybody, make sure the studio's available, and that was probably like the most difficult part about it. But I mean, I don't regret any of it. It was a lot of fun.
Sure.
Dude, you guys, I mean, it looked incredible, bro. Everything you guys did was top
Appreciate
notch,
that.
man. Like that's something like I was telling Yam earlier, like, what the way that you present yourself, man, it's very like MTV host. You've got this. You're not cut from the same cloth as everybody. You're very different on the way you handle things and the way that you are, and you're so good at hosting and interviewing, bro. Like I keep waiting for you just to get plucked out of Cincinnati and then dropped into New York, where you can be on like one of these MTV news channels, or like one of these like up and coming, like a Viceland or something like that. Because you definitely have that like aura about you, bro. That like you're a chameleon. You relate to everybody, and you can sit down and have a good conversation, which is always one of my favorite parts about Donuts and Alcohol, man. It's like you're saying, it was an interview. So like a lot of these artists, I mean, they're in my own backyard and I've never heard of them, right? So I get a chance to learn about these people and all the grind that they're doing because of you and Tatum and Donuts and Alcohol, bro. So
yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
I mean, I appreciate you, bro, for doing that, and for, because obviously, what we've got here, like I've spent the money to build this podcast, right, and then YouTube University to learn how to do it all, but renting that space from Timeless, right, like that, like it's all their equipment, they dedicate their time, so they need some skin in the game. And that shit adds up, bro. Like even today we were just talking. It's like, bro, like I spend $60 a week on pizza and alcohol, $60 to $70 a week on that, right? So it's like we need to get a sponsor, bro. Like there's like we can get a pizza sponsor pretty easy. So it's like all we got to do is go out and ask, like, hey, Newport Pizza, Bourbon House, Strong's, which one of you guys wants to sponsor the podcast? Just to kind of alleviate the stuff on our end, because it doesn't seem like much when it's $70 a week, but at the end of the month it's $300, which is small peanuts compared to what I'm sure Timeless Studios is probably $300 a $200 or $300 a video.
Yeah, it was about 2 hours at about $60-$70, and then plus whatever to get to the engineer or whatever. So.
And that's somewhat that you were talking about too, the back end, like doing all the editing and everything. Like obviously we would love to have an editor, and we would love to be able to put this out next week, where we've got all these little tidbits in on the YouTube that are the podcast that we're doing right for YouTube. But being able to go live with the 5 cameras and just upload it, and it's right there for everyone to see, man. Like there's a level to that that's like, even though it's not perfect production, it's like it's what we're doing, and it makes sense because we can cut out some of the delay by doing that, man. Like our first 2 seasons of the podcast, bro, it would take us 2 weeks to get the footage back, and by that time, like the Bengals, like if we talked anything about the Bengals or anything about the Reds, by the time it uploaded, it was like, bro, the Bengals lost the last 2 games. Like we're
you're talking about week 3, it's week 7. Like,
man. Like,
no one. That's where, when we were filming them all in one day, that's where we would run into trouble, because they say we do 12 episodes, that one's not coming out for at least 12 weeks after that.
Right.
And it's like they're talking about projects they got coming out or shows, and it's like those were 2 months ago. So we had to kind of go on the run and do it every other week, and then it's just hard to keep up with, like booking everybody, and then like you said, putting money into it. People don't realize that you're technically investing in that artist or whoever to have them come. You're putting the money in. You invested in this equipment. It's an investment. So for Donuts and Alcohol, where a lot of people got mad with me, is I just wasn't interviewing everybody. Like it just didn't make sense. Like someone that made 2 songs and put them on SoundCloud is already thinking like, I'm ready for an interview. You're not. Like there's a lot of work. There's a lot of other people out there that deserve it. And if I don't like the music, then why am I putting I don't want to sound like I'm better than anyone, but like stamp of approval on you, or
it's got to be co-signed by if you're going to want to be involved in the conversation. Of course, you're going to want to be invested in it.
So like if I put out an interview with this guy and you took the time to watch it, they're about 20 minutes. I value every minute. Like that's a lot of time for people these days. And you do it, and then you go research them, and you find their music, and you're like, dude, this is dog shit. I'm probably not going to take their recommendation anymore. Like it's all it takes is one time. So I'm very particular about like the curation and stuff, and putting on good people that deserve it, as opposed to just friends or some guy you met on the street or something.
For sure, because Donuts and Alcohol is your baby, bro. And so every time you're bringing somebody into the house, you want to make sure that they're wiping the feet and being polite, bro. It's there's things to it, like you said, like when it comes to this, even though all the money's already spent here, like there's the time, right? Like all of our time is very valuable.
More important than the money. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah.
So
money's a byproduct of what you like to do. Like that's how I view it. Like money, if you're chasing dollar bills, you're going to end up chasing till forever because it's just never going to, you're going to chase your tail. But if you do what you like and all of a sudden you get the big breaks and it makes it more fun, before you know it, your bank account's feeling great, life's feeling great, and you're literally in the midst of everything good because you're loving it. So like
all those big breaks are like just
part
extra.
of it. Yeah, part of it. They're part of the
top.
exactly. They're part of you putting energy in the world, and you whatever you're doing. It doesn't have to be even in the creative industry.
Yeah.
You can be an accountant and be like, hey, I'm working for this company and this company private, and all of a sudden 3 other companies are going to get pushed your way because these other private companies are like, hey, this guy does a good job, and before you know, you get all this work and you don't even have to worry about it anymore because you just like crunchy numbers or whatever the reason. So it's about your grind as an individual, and it'll get prosperous as you put more time. But it's the people that stop as they get a little bit of build, and then they just like, all right, this is peak.
And they get comfortable.
You get comfortable, and it's coming in where they're good. They got to buy the new car. They're chilling. Once you start chilling, you're done. You're
already losing.
You're losing, man. You're getting complacent without even realizing it.
I think my biggest problem with a lot of people, I'm sure it happens in every music scene, but I can only talk about the Cincinnati music scene.
Sure.
A lot of people get a really cool accomplishment, like they get a placement or they get their song recognized or someone gives them a shout out, famous, and like we were saying, they just ride that to death. 2 years later, still riding it, but haven't improved at all. And it's like, that's amazing that you did that, but what's the next step? You're only as good as your next step.
100%, bro. Like, and everything is steps, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to this, okay. Now that you're on the 3rd step, don't brag about the 3rd step. Know how to get to the 4th, and 5th, and 6th.
Already be thinking about that 5th step when you get that 3rd step, get that cool accomplishment. Think about where you're gonna take it.
Don't treat it as the ceiling.
Yeah.
Look at it as the new bar. So like
100%.
if you look at it as the ceiling, then you're at there like, all right, that's my ceiling. I got that placement or whatever it is. No, that's the new bar. That's your standard now. That's it. From going forward, if you don't achieve that, think of everything that you're doing in the moment is what matters. The past is the past. The future is what to come. So like live in that moment. If you're looking about the past, if you're playing, I did high school quarterback, if that's where you're at, high school, and it could be a week ago, that's great. But you should see how you can like whether it's monetary or you whatever on what you just achieved. Double down on trying to monetary, but make other moves while this is happening, because you can do two in the same. Make money while you sleep, if you will. So that's making money while you sleep, and everything else is during your day grind. And that's how I would go about it if you get the placement. Yeah. Because otherwise, dude, you're literally playing high school quarterback.
Exactly.
10 years out of high school.
That's Al Bundy that scored 4 touchdowns in a high school game, talking about it 30 years later. It's like,
right. Cool.
If that's your goal, like, I'm not going to shit on you at all. That's great. That is sick. But we're trying to build something way bigger.
Yeah, we're in different lanes.
Like,
we're in different lanes.
I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah,
don't tell me how you deserve something because you did this or did that.
You're not entitled to.
Anything.
You're not entitled to shit. Like for real. Like you ain't entitled to anything. No, you got to go get it, and you may not reinvent the wheel, but there's a way to make your journey smoother. Yeah. And you can find a new wheel and better. Like you can improve it, but we're not here to reinvent something. Is a very difficult human experience. Oh, yeah. Because that's something that just isn't. It's just something they do every day. Every day, they might figure a new invention out, but it's probably brainstormed from something else that's already in existence.
There's no original idea.
Exactly.
I mean, that's where people gotta get over themselves and get rid of their ego. Like I've even taken on like the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna come out with some cool, creative, new ideas, and I've had my ideas like stolen. Like, okay, I didn't come up with the interview series.
Sure.
But at the time, we were the only ones really doing what we were doing in Cincinnati during that specific time. I saw 3, 4, 5 other ones come up right after us.
Yep.
But guess what? They didn't last as long as us. They weren't as good as ours. So my whole thing is,
what about the rest? Yeah.
You can copy my ideas, but mine are going to be
execution,
better. I'm going to do it better, or I'm going to already be 3 steps ahead of you. So when you're doing that idea, that was my idea, 2 months ago. So
right.
It's
what you're seeing now, because you said 12 episodes.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, I did 12 episodes ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you're 12 episodes behind me, my dude. Like is cool. is, and I'm gonna move on to episode 13, which is gonna be a whole new pivot, and we're gonna change setting. We got a new backdrop now. Where are you at? Like kind of thing, and that's the thing
Trying to play catch up.
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of this thing called a Digital Venue Collective (DVC), and it was similar. We did interviews and live performance in a basement setting, kind of like a Wayne's World ish.
Oh, dope.
We had a sound guy and live stream and stuff, and I'm hoping to continue it in its own way in the future soon. But outside of that, like, I was in the originator. I was joined in as a producer, and then I became a host because I brought more to the table. But like, it wouldn't reinvent anything. They were just like, he was just like, his name's Des Timmerdine, and he was like, it was basically Wayne's World, but like a local brand, and it's metal focused, metal music and stuff like that. And I was like, this is cool. Like, you know, MTV used to do the interviews and all this. I was like, this is cool, but it's live band, and there was a sound guy built in, and just like, it was just really cool. And I was like, man, I could see the underground, because I was in the metal scene. I was in there, and I could see the potential that they were trying to find. They were trying to find where I was already looking. So I was like, dude, we can make this happen. And like, every artist came, we fed them. Like, we all, like, there were just so many benefits for them to come into the house. It was a house setting, very homey, but then you get the basement. It was very underground, but it was still like a vibe. There was cool lighting, a Bayside flag, just a vibe in that scene. Yeah. But like, that's the thing, is all these musicians were so comfortable because they were all used to playing in the basement. Like, they all started in that setting. Yeah. And even though they were much bigger now and they were doing their thing and on tour, but taking them back to the basement setting. I don't know how many times people come down there, and like, I didn't love the environment. It wasn't my ideal. I was trying to actually bring the show to the Levee eventually, and I wanted to go a more professional way. But there was something about being in the basement for some of these guys that were like, man, what do you want to know about us? I'll give you everything. Like, cool, man. Like, cool. Open up, because they felt comfortable, because that's where they were. That's where they all started. Basement, garage, if you will. So it's like, we provide, like, they were like, the idea was provided, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Like, let's bring in the top tier of what would be grunge, punk, rock, metal. And then we just kind of pivoted, and then it just became really cool. A lot of viewers. We had, you know, like, people would come in to watch in person and stuff, and there was just a lot of benefits to it. But like, not original, but just making the journey smoother.
But you put your own like stamp on it. Like,
sure,
when
yeah,
they saw it was like, okay, that's what they're doing. It's not just Jimmy Fallon knockoff or something, you know?
Right? So yeah, for sure.
It's your own flavor. So.
Flavor. It's all about flavor and all about the environment, the energy in the room and the setting, and what people are in and how they feel. I always look at it as like, it's not what you do; it's how you make them feel in the experience. Even they come into the store, they see it, but the people behind the store that sit in like, hidden in plain sight, if you will, because they just see us at the computer. They see us. They just are we're people. Yeah. This must be some big company that's just here on the levee. A lot of people come here don't even know it's all local businesses. Everyone on this levee is local, like inside the gallery here. Wow. It's all local, right?
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
They're all local businesses, every single one. So like, a lot of people don't know that. They think it's high investor, like, oh, is this like a spin-off of Zoomies or whatever the case may be? Nah, man, this is what it is, and it blows people's mind. But we put all of our time in during COVID into trying to create this, and now they're just seeing what came out of the mind into fruition. And it's hard for people to not only accept, but to understand that it could be local. That's another thing. That's
I can't tell you, like, I'm sure you guys get it all the time. Like, just like, I'm approaching 30. I'm about to be 30 this year. But just like talking to like family members and just like older people and stuff, and just random people that aren't in the scene, it's like, so what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? And I'm like trying to tell them about the music stuff, and it's just not clicking with people because they're so far removed from like what's going on, and it's like, you'll understand one day.
Right.
So like, just like once you guys finally built this, I'm sure people understood a little bit more, but you still get them people walking in, that are like,
bro, this is that's a great response, because when the store was being built out, him and I asked for black walls and a black ceiling.
This story's wild.
And there were professional painters. They paint stores for a living, and the guy didn't. He only painted the ceiling black. And we saw it. We were sneaking in every day while they were working, and we're like, no, dude, like the black needs to come all the way down to the ground. And they were like, nope, like that's a terrible idea, and we're not going to do it. Like we paint stores for a living, bro, and nobody does black walls and black ceilings. And so they didn't even do it. They were like, they needed to get the okay specifically from the levee, which the levee already sent the plans in, so it was already in the plans to do it. So they had to ask the levee again. So the next day we came in, black walls. And then once we put the graffiti on the walls and then added the black lights, the exact same guy came in and saw the store and was looking around. And like without thinking about like what he told us beforehand, he was like, dude, my son would love this store. And I was like, exactly, dude. Like we're just give us a little bit of credit, bro. You know what I mean? Like we may not be Justice, or we may not be Abercrombie and Fitch, like where everything is already like planned and fixated, like you know what's going in there. But like I've been a kid all my life, bro. I'm 40 and I'm still a kid. So like when I go into these stores, if I go into a store that makes me feel some type of way, I'm downloading everything. So like this store's got like 8 stores all combined in one. Not clothing stores, but like a restaurant from Las Vegas, right? Like a shoe store from Boston, a clothing store from California. Like it's all kind of just meshed in along with this graffiti Chicago lifestyle that I've always had. Like this looks like my bedroom, bro, just with more money behind it. You know what I mean?
It's got, like we were saying, it's got character. It's like, it's different. It's different than going into Zoomies.
Yeah.
And seeing, I mean, don't they have black walls in there?
I think so.
Yeah,
but
they're
like
covered so much.
they're like they've got clothes from floor to the ceiling, bro.
Yeah.
Like in
But like
there.
when I go in there, like I know what I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see some like golf wang, some like
Cookies.
Odd Future,
Cookies,
cookies or whatever that I see just random people that don't even like rock with that stuff or just wearing because they
Right.
went to the mall and went to the cool skate store. Like,
Dude,
but when I come in here, it's like everything I like. I love. It's controversial. I'm sorry. Love Kanye. Kanye's music, art, sports. All my favorite sports people from the '90s. Stuff that aligns with the Bengals colorways. Like I'm gonna have to cop that whiteout hat when I get off of here. Like like the beanie.
Is there any left?
Like,
There's
there's a bunch.
The
The
beanie. The beanie. Yeah.
And they're the hats, and there's 2 in the lab.
One. I sold the other one this morning.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like the black light, how it hits the neon stuff that you have.
Makes it pop. It changes the game.
It's so genius, bro.
Yeah.
It's like moss to a flame because it, like for us, like we understand, like we can, since we're designing the clothes, it's not like some corporate that's bringing stuff in. Like we know that, hey, if we bring neon in here on any of these things, it's going to hit because of the black lights.
Light.
And I got to be honest, bro. Like I said this before, maybe like a year ago on the podcast, but like LEDs, like the transformation from like incandescent bulbs to LEDs is so mind-blowing because like it makes like incandescent light bulbs like irrelevant, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're half as bright, they take up 4 times the energy. And like if we put regular black light bulbs on this ceiling, they would only like illuminate maybe 3 feet down from where it is. But these LEDs, it's like you can have it across the room and it's still lighting up the neons, bro. And so it's like the fact that like we just transferred from all these hot incandescent bulbs that don't illuminate the highway to these LED bulbs they take literally like 3% of the energy instead of 70% of the energy, and they're lighting up 3/4 instead of 1/3. It's like, it's crazy to think that there was that time where somebody just came in and said, I got something better than what Ben Franklin did.
Yeah. Right.
And we don't even know who he is, bro. Like somebody created a light that takes a fraction of the energy and is 3 times as bright. And you can bend it, bro. You can bend. There's LED strips now. You know what I mean? Like the fact that no one has put that guy on a pedestal and said, dude, you are the man.
And he's 0.3 is famous.
Bro, and like for me,
0.003 is famous.
I mean, I was thinking about this the other day, bro, because I'm 42, so like, I was there when it was the receiver attached to the stereo, attached to the CD player, attached to the tape cassette, and so like I know how to wire all that shit. But it's crazy that like people nowadays are like, well, I don't know where I would plug the speakers in at. You know what I mean? And it's like, for me, it's like I've been doing this for so long that it's like when I see something like the light bulb come in, I'm just like, holy shit, dude, that's insane. The fact that you can grab a light bulb and not burn the skin on your finger. You remember you used to be able to swap out the bulb and it would literally give you a blister on your finger, bro.
You'd use like a rag.
Yeah.
Just to get it. Yeah.
Tap it out.
But that's crazy that we've come that far, bro. Where somebody just came in and said, I got something better than Ben Franklin, and
again, they took a non-original idea, made it better,
Made it
Well,
way
now
better.
We don't know who Mr. LED is, and we know who Benjamin Franklin is, but it helped us all out.
Changing the
Yeah.
game, bro.
Yeah.
Changing the game.
Thankless job.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Same,
Thankless,
same.
thankless, selfless.
Yes, very so. Thank you, Mr. LED.
Hey, there's another no-name guy out there that needs some recognition. His name is Tim Berners-Lee. He is the
Tim Berners-Lee.
yeah, bro. He is the scientist that invented the internet. Do you know where he worked at?
PNG.
CERN.
IBM.
Shit.
So do you know what
What's that,
CERN is?
CERN.
Are they the people that are? Are they
The
trying to,
ho-
like
the
God
hadron.
particle
Yeah,
or
the
whatever?
particle,
the
yeah.
particle collider.
Yeah.
He was a scientist working on that. He created he found the internet in doing that. And what he did was, instead of selling his technology, he was like, this is something that needs to be given away for free. So he gave all the access to the internet away for free, and then people like American Online came in, Netscape, and said, okay, we're going to be the firewall for it. So Tim Berners-Lee, he's only worth he's still a millionaire. He's like $3 to $6 million, but like for creating the internet,
You
dude,
should be $3 billion.
if he
let's
would
be real.
have just said, okay, I'm going to give you guys the internet, and all I want is 0.5% of everything that's ever sold on the internet. Imagine that,
I'd be
bro.
the richest dude. And
Bro, he'd be over it. He'd be killing Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
0.5%. He would make 0.5% on everything Jeff Bezos sold on Amazon. But he wanted to give it away for free, bro, because he's a real one, right? He's like,
Yeah.
this is too valuable. Like there can't be a troll on this bridge for this
yeah.
one.
I get it. I get that. I understand. I know like the thought process behind not being a gatekeeper for something so.
But what if, bro? Like,
What if?
that's
a
like
quarter
being
of a percent? Just give me 0.25% of everything
There
sold.
was that guy that I forget the dude's name that does the interviews with people that drive the really nice cars. Like, what do you do for a living?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
So he interviewed one of them was like, "What do you do for a living?" And he's like, "I created like the transactions with credit cards, the companies, so I get a cut of every credit card transaction
half a cent
ever
of
done."
every, yeah.
So he's
Half
like,
percent or something.
yeah, and he's
driving
like,
a
what?
Bugatti.
Yeah, it's insane. And the dude said it's so calm. I'm watching the video. I'm like, this dude gets a transaction every credit card just because of the way he created it. Like that. That's the same concept. He's sitting in. No one knows my name yet. I'm sitting here on billions of dollars just because.
chilling.
Just driving around being interviewed by a dude on YouTube. I mean, it's just that. I mean, the internet thing. That's even next. That's even
like
beyond.
gatekeeping at this point, like gatekeeping water or something.
Yeah,
You know?
sure.
Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, I get 0.5% of every water bottle sold or something.
Every drip of water.
It's like,
yeah.
that's like you're saying, like, you can't really gatekeep it. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, and everyone thinks Al Gore made the internet, but it's this Tim guy. Al
Right.
Gore's the Ben Franklin of the.
Yeah.
the internet
Touche.
game.
That's
They're-
funny, bro.
they're-
All right, man. So donuts and alcohol, bro. So you guys have created so much buzz here in the city because of it, right? So what's the next step? Do you feel like you've shed the skin of where you wanted it to go, and now you're slithering into another lane? Like, how do you look at the next step
in a
for
sense,
donuts?
yeah, like with the interviews and stuff, it's like there's a lot of politics with like you got to interview someone or do this. At the very core of it, I tried to pick everyone and curate it as best as possible. There's some in there where it's like if you don't interview them, then they're gonna be mad at you, and then this whole clique's gonna be mad at you or whatever. So it's goofy, and I'm glad to get rid of that, and I can just kind of focus on artists that I want to work with, and I don't plan to get rid of Donuts and Alcohol, the brand. I just want to kind of transition it into a new lane, like you were saying, which is live events and live productions, which is
You're growing. That's
something
yeah.
that we've done throughout, but everyone's just kind of looking at them like little local shows, And to be honest with you, I was learning a lot. So this whole past 5 years, don't regret it at all. I learned a lot, more than I thought I would. So with this next step, take it into live events. Can break some news here if that's.
Oh
if that's
shit!
cool.
Let's go for it.
Okay, I haven't said this publicly yet on any platform, but I have a
Drum roll, please.
I have a 4-show residency at Madison Live kicking off July 28th.
Hey.
It's going to be crazy. It's just something that I said at the beginning of the year. I was like, I'm tired of putting these events together like with a month and a half and just bullshitting my way through it, because we all know a bunch of artists and stuff, so it's easy to put a show together. But
Right.
how can we put these guys on a platform bigger than they have been? Because I go to shows all the time, and there's like 50 people there. There's very few people that are doing it right.
Right.
So, and I hate seeing like local artists playing in front of nobody. It's just like,
For sure.
it's fucked. But yeah, going back to that residency, it all kicks off on my 30th birthday, July 28th, at Madison Live. We've got both floors rented out, and kind of want to do something different with this, trying to encapsulate all the genres of music. Upstairs is going to be
Upstairs is fire, by the way.
yeah, rooftop.
Yeah,
dude.
We're gonna have some food and vendors and stuff as well. Native will be there.
Yes, sir. We will.
But upstairs is gonna be headlined by Too Rich Benji, easily like my favorite rapper in the city. And then yeah, upstairs is gonna be like hip hop and R&B, kind of, you know, the newer kind of generation kind of stuff. And then downstairs we have alternative bands and acts.
Oh, dope.
So it's going to be like choose your own adventure at this point. One ticket gets you into both. But I'm so excited because I've seen a lot of people try to kind of make some mixed shows or whatever, but it always kind of seemed like, who can we get rather than who do we want?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to take this to the next level. And yeah, we got a band coming from Nashville, a band coming up from like Cleveland, and just a very good lineup of people that I believe in wholeheartedly. I actually like their music, so it's going to be an amazing time. I'm excited.
And that's the biggest part, man. Like you were talking about earlier. If you can co-sign, and if you like the bands that you're bringing in, it's just gonna bring that much more fuel to the party and the event. That, you know, you're gonna be hyped about it, and people can read you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you're stoked on the bands that you got, it's gonna exude when you're talking about them, right? So, like there's it's an attitude, you know, that it's a persona that you always had to put on, but thankfully you're able to do it because you truly like these people, and that's fire that you're bringing people from out of town that are going to be mixed in with, you know, with the local crowd, because then you're going to be able to bring that shit back to Nashville, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then, you know, the you know, I'm sure the 5-10 year plan is to start doing these things in other cities where you're able to lock in some local artists in Nashville to do it, and then we'll bring some Cincy folk down there, right?
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do. Within the next year, honestly, like I've learned as well is like a lot of these artists that I've come up with, they're either like there's nothing I can offer them anymore. Like we've done everything we can here in the city. They got to kind of go. So what's been really fun is trying to find like this new crop of artists, these younger guys, like the 20 to 23-year-olds that are coming up.
They're out there too, bro.
They're making some dope stuff. I'll just give a quick shout out to Rye. I love him. It'd Be Too Vicious, Saba. Like they're killing it on like their shows get packed too. Is the thing. Like
They do.
I saw that. You know Saba. Like he does a lot of stuff at Madison Live. Yeah, like bro brings out hella people, and it's like before I booked him on a show last year, I had no clue. I just got a recommendation from the venue, like, hey, put this guy on here. And I was like, okay, cool. People know him.
Yeah.
Blew me away. Music's amazing. Like, it's just, you got to keep your eyes and ears open at all times and be willing to accept new ideas and new forms of entertainment and stuff. And as long as you can do that and you don't, I mean, as people get older, they just stick in their same genre, or like, with me right now, like, I grew up in like the early 2000s and stuff. That's when I was really like taking all that in. I love new metal. Like I love like
Nice.
Deftones, Linkin Park, Korn and stuff. Like I still listen to all that stuff a lot. Like that's my comfort music, but it's not all I listen to. Like you get them old punk heads that just are still listening to, you know, Dead Kennedys and Ramones or whoever else, and like everything else beyond is shit.
Yeah.
So it's like you were saying, you gotta have that kid-like mindset and be able to you know, take in new things and new ideas and expand on them.
And delete the static of what other people are saying, right?
Exactly.
Because like a lot, like especially, I don't know if it's just Cincinnati alone, but a lot of people don't like to give other people credit until they've made it. And even after they've made it, a lot of the other artists are still kind of downplaying their accomplishments, man. So it's like, you know, as an artist, like Andrew was saying, you know, it's not a ceiling. You got to use that as the next step to get to the next. You know, once you drop that song that does do well, you know, don't look up at it. Go and stand on it, and then look up to see what the next step is.
That's
right?
a good point too, because like, I swear, if you open the same shop, you had this one, you opened one in like Chicago or New York City, and it was popping, this place would be freaking going crazy.
For
'Cause
sure.
everyone was like, "Oh no, they're big in Chicago. Like they're really doing it. Like I like them." Like you've seen many artists come here and no one fucks with them until they get that big song or go on tour with someone. Like there's this artist Pink Sifu is blown up. He was from here. He had some good buzz around here, but wasn't anywhere. People weren't respecting him as they should. Now he's like doing songs with he's got like production from Alchemist and going on a tour and everything, and now everyone
Alchemist
loves him
is the
here.
man.
Yeah, so it's like I wish people would really see it for what it was when it was here and get behind it. And then I feel like Cincinnati would be more of a hub. But when people got to leave and go to LA or New York or Chicago, then you know they leave us. And
Nashville now.
Nashville as well, yeah.
Man, I was just in Nashville last weekend, bro. It is more busy in Nashville than it is in Las Vegas. I swear to God.
Really?
We didn't even get out of the car, bro. Like it was, like we went on Broadway and we were gonna go to a couple bars, but you look around and every bar is brand labeled, bro. Luke Bryan's bar, fucking Blake Shelton's bar, fucking Dolly's bar. Like Justin Timberlake had a bar there now, and it's like every one of these places. There's a line of 20 to 30 people trying to get in, and then you look at the building, and every balcony has got people just pressed up against the balcony, like where they can't even move, and it's just like,
how is that even fun? Like,
how's that even fun, bro?
Right.
So like we just went like 4 or 5 blocks up and just went to a rooftop bar and had a couple drinks and just overlooked all the madness, man.
Wait till they build that new stadium. It's about to be the new football stadium. They're about to be getting Super Bowl, WrestleMania, like
Dude,
all sorts of stuff.
The Titan Stadium is ridiculous as it is right now, bro. Like looking at it, like it's way bigger than Paul Brown. I don't know how many people it holds, but we went there for the Stevie Nicks Billy Joel concert.
Dope.
It was incredible, dude. Like I'm seeing grandparents on stage, right? And they're living like they were 18 years old. And then I'm looking around and you've got like 15-year-old girls singing Stevie Nicks. You got 50-year-old women singing Stevie Nicks, and it's like you're looking around like, man, this one grandma has implemented her mentality and her mindset into all these people, bro. And it's just like it's crazy to see that, like, somebody, you know, you see Billy Joel now, he's like mid-70s, bro. So he's like, you know, he looks like the old investment banker at the bar now. But like, you know, for somebody like him, it's like, man, that's an entire lifetime of doing that. And he's 70-something, and he's still loving it, bro. Just still on stage. And like I said, that stadium, we had like nosebleed seats, and I wouldn't have traded them for floor seats, bro, because the way the crowd was involved, it was such a perfect moment. And then of course you got like, we were at the on like I said, the nosebleed, so you can see all of Nashville behind it, bro. Like the whole city behind it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
The best vantage point is up there because you get that bird's eye view. Your photos, you do wide angle. I'm sure it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just can only imagine.
People in general, like those are the cool people up there that are, you know, ready
Yeah,
to party,
bro.
have a good time. Not my investor gave me these tickets and we're sitting on the floor. I don't really like Billy Joel, but hey, we got good seats, so
Right,
we'll
right.
go. Like,
Yeah, the people that try to sit down,
Yeah.
and then they get mad that people are standing.
Right.
Oh, that's
going back to the clubhouse for most of it and watching it on the TVs in there, or whatever. Like, yeah, I love a good concert. Probably the last concert I went to that was great was I saw 9 Inch Nails and Eve's Tumor at Red Rocks. And
oh shit.
just like you were saying, like the whole backdrop is the city, and it was like storming too. So like there was like lightning coming down.
Oh come
and,
on,
like,
bro! Like
yeah, it
heat
was-
lightning out there
Woo.
at
It
Red
was-
Rocks would be insane, dude.
That's insane.
And, like
If-
got a new appreciation for 9 Inch Nails and stuff. Like I always liked them, but
Yeah.
they put on a crazy
Oh,
show.
yeah.
If you could see anybody at Red Rocks, who would it be? Like the one, like
I'd probably have to say,
dead or alive. Let's go that
oh
way.
God,
Yeah.
just open up the books. I always want to see Jimmy, Prince, Michael,
Yeah.
Kanye, or The Weeknd. It'd probably have to be like my top.
All
At
right.
Red Rocks, I think would be sick. Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think, would be pretty sick.
Red Hot Chili Peppers at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Would be
That'd be
insane.
That's
pretty
probably be my choice.
Yeah.
I've got a DVD from shout out to Ryan Ocker. So like, it was back before you can burn DVDs and stuff, and it was like Red Hot Chili Peppers live at Slane Castle. You ever see that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
And so like that
They're
DVD
amazing
was
live,
passed
man.
around by like 7 people, and it ended up in my car. I had a little DVD player, so like I'm not getting rid of this one. Kept
Right.
it in there, bro.
Bro,
But
all
that's-
3 times I've seen the Chili Peppers, they put on some of the best performance I've ever seen in bands. They just Flea is just
Flea's the
he's-
man, bro.
He's like straight entertainer.
Did you see when he was here in Cincinnati? Like he did the handstand. They were all wearing Reds jerseys, and he did a handstand and walked all the way out to his bass guitar in his hands, like from the backstage. Like
I've
just,
seen him do the
wild.
handstand before. He did. I might do that a lot. I mean,
I'm sure he
brings
does.
out. He brings out. I mean, he brings out all the tricks at every show. They are just entertainers, top to bottom. Anthony Kiedis. I mean, I read Anthony Kiedis' book, Scar Tissue, like back in the day. I don't know what happened to it, but my buddy Brent let me borrow it, and it's gone. But it's a great book. Just it tells you about how they began and how they like helped Nirvana become big and like all the
That
different
first
moves.
tour was
It's
crazy.
just crazy, and like Anthony Kiedis' dad, like Blackie, like making him do all that stuff. It's just crazy how they just became what they are. Like he was just a dancer to start, just dancing and like just making sounds out of his mouth, and before you know it, turned to rap, and before you know it, he's like, I can sing a little, and then that's it. And like it's just, bro.
is that who you would see at Red Rock? Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I mean, I've seen them 3 times. I would probably say them. Man, you said dead or alive though.
I know, that's just
So
like,
that's where like the dead, like I don't know. I would, dude, to get to see another Linkin Park
oh damn
performance
yeah,
would be, I don't know, Linkin Park, and if you bring Jay-Z into it, you put those two in that situation.
That might be the best
just
right
watching
there.
If I
that,
put Linkin Park and I would put Jay-Z there, I would just that's where
I
I'm
was
at.
just watching the other day. It popped up on, I think it was on Twitter or something. But they're at the Roxy when they did that initial show. When
Yeah,
they dropped the
dude.
album. I was just getting goosebumps the whole time.
Dude.
'cause
Oh, have we got something for you?
Yeah.
Like, no one even knew Jay-Z was coming out, bro.
Yeah,
Like that
bro.
was insane.
Yeah, and then that's how I got into rap. To be honest with you, like I just got, my parents were like real into rock and stuff. They were pretty cool and hip. Like I think my first concert, I was 7. I saw 3 Doors Down at Bogart's. That's before like they just dropped like Kryptonite or whatever. It was
Yeah.
before they kind of got corny and kind of got on that like Nickelback level. which,
Right.
No hate to them. They got some hits, but
Three
yeah.
Doors.
Then I was just listening to rock and stuff. Got into Linkin Park, and then got into Jay-Z, and then from Jay-Z to Kanye, and I was just
Off to the races.
Kanye to all like the little samples that he was doing, the
Yeah.
Shaka Khan, and whoever else. Like
So it was
Opened my
literally
mind.
the Smash album
Yeah.
that got you into
Yeah,
hip
'cause
hop. That's incredible.
like my parents, and I'm very thankful for my parents. They let me listen to whatever I want. The rule was I just can't talk like that. If they're cussing and stuff, don't be acting like that. You can listen to it.
That's a good rule.
Yeah, so from there, I was like, bet, bet. I'm about to explore. And, I went to Kanye and then Eminem and 50 Cent. That was all when I was like 10 years old. And, just from there, off to the races.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think
It's a good start too.
I think
Good story.
my Red Rock would be Outkast. I think if Outkast was there, but it had to be like, I'm sure they would play all their hits, but like AT Aliens we were talking about earlier, bro. Like that whole album's ridiculous. So like,
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I don't necessarily need to see Andre 3000 with the flute on
Yeah.
stage. You know what I mean? But some old school Outkast, I think it'd be fire.
What
Yeah.
are the? I'm gonna flip the script on you. I'm asking the questions now.
Hey,
What's the best concert you guys have been to?
all right.
The best I've been to. I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first, Jay. You have to take the honors.
Best concert. It might be the Chili Peppers, honestly, man. Chili Peppers was good. Elton John was pretty fire, bro. I think Elton John might take it because it was nonstop. We were once I got to the stadium, I heard that like 8 o'clock hits, he's on. Like don't like you got to be in your seat for it the whole nine. So as soon as 8 o'clock hits, I was standing in line for a beer and everybody leaves. So I was able to grab a beer real quick, and the first song that was on was Benny and the Jets, bro. And it's just like, and I got I was like third row, so I was like front and center, bro. But he played for like 2 straight hours, 3 straight hours, like didn't stop, no intermission, like just going the whole time. So, I don't know, man. You know, I could go back to like my very first concert, and it was Garth Brooks. Like that was my very first concert that I went to, and seeing Garth live is ridiculous, dude. Especially like I was at a young age, so I really didn't understand. Like I love Garth's music, but I didn't understand the legacy that he was holding, or I'm sure no one might have at the time. But I don't know, man. That is a good question, because I've been to a lot of concerts, and I'm trying to think of the ones that are sticking out. But
I would say for me, I've been to a lot. I'm a promoter at Madison Live, so I've worked there. So I've seen a lot of cool concerts over the years. Go if you would go for it.
I remembered it.
Remember before you forget it. Say it.
I saw Outkast at Bogart's when AT Aliens came out. And so I was like, I've been a Outkast fan since I lived in Chicago, back in the Southern playlist of Cadillac Music. And so when I went to the concert, I was like the only white dude there. And then when they came back, I was like, there was like only a couple black people in the crowd. Like it was all white. So it was like seeing Outkast there on such a small stage, performing in front of 300 people instead of 10,000. That was pretty dope.
That is cool.
That's insane.
That is cool.
I saw Marilyn Manson at Bogart's too. And that was pretty cool. But I wasn't really into Marilyn Manson as much. You know, I've always been into like hip hop music, but I definitely think it.
Outkast is up there, bro, for sure.
Outkast, Bogart's.
Oh yeah, that would be live.
I mean, the environment, you're never gonna see that again. So
yeah, that was like probably like 1995, bro. That I saw him there.
Yeah, man. For me, probably. I mean, I worked at Madison Live. I was just saying, Madison Theater. I've seen some amazing shows there, but probably the best experiences I've had were probably all at Warped Tour.
Oh yeah.
So I was big into the Warped Tour scene. You know, I played in a metalcore band, and I was just really pushing for that.
Did you know that he used to have a band called Ocean Grid? That's like screamo.
Like a metalcore. Yeah. We were. I mean, 2015.
Am I wrong every time I say screamo? Is that
I mean, screamo is
a
pretty. I would say screamo is like
post-screamo,
post-hardcore is what we consider ourselves. But like screamo is like the way to clear out everybody. Like, hey, I do screamo. Like, if they don't understand what you're saying, if you're playing the music, someone that knows that also plays knows you're speaking to the general public.
Yeah.
But inside it's like post-hardcore, metalcore, you know, like you got a lot of like deathcore. It goes down, but and then leaves the pop punk and all sorts of happy core stuff. But I would say Warped Tour was it for me. The band I was most impressed with was a band called Funeral for a Friend. They probably played as close and with performance and entertaining as I've ever heard a band play to the album. And that scene is really hard because most of the time they improv, they go off. They play their songs, but they spice it up because they're in front of a live audience at Warped Tour. But Funeral for a Friend played it to a T, and they put on a good show. So I thought that was probably the best performance I've ever seen on a Warped Tour sense, and in general, honestly, in that genre. But the best I've ever seen is a band called Let Live, and the vocalist, he put on such like, I don't often say, but like a breathtaking performance at Warped Tour. like for real, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, dude can sing with the best of them, and he literally gets on and he does this talking point about his mom in the hospital, and she's may not gonna survive, and he's explaining how she's like laying in the hospital bed, and he's talking to the crowd and no music, and he's just talking and just explaining and building up. And like he gets like so into it, like about his mother and all this stuff, and he like picks a metal trash can up and throws it in the air and like punches it with both fists and it like goes into the crowd, and it was just insanity, and the crowd goes nuts, and like 3,000 plus people are just in front of this dude just laying his heart out, and he's a great screamer, great singer. He's doing all the metal stuff, like. But like, man, I've never seen a performance like he gets on the speakers and he's just like above everyone, just doing these vocals and jumps down. Like you can tell the stage manager's like having a meltdown, but he knows this guy is like this. Like everyone in the scene knows he's just like this. But man, dude, the ticket for admission was worth his performance, Let Loose performance. Damn. And I've never seen anything like that. Like I got to be on like a lot of the stages. Like I got to be on with like Prada or Miss May I or Word Alive, or all these bands. We were on stage watching them from behind stage. But this one, I was so glad I was in the crowd. I thank the lucky stars, the universe, for putting me in the crowd for that one. Because if I was on the stage for that, it'd been cool to watch.
Different experience.
But watching the crowd be quiet as he's just like crying. Dude was literally shedding tears about this situation he was dealing with, and it built right into the song. And I'm like, Cold Chill's talking about it because he just destroyed it. Bearded dude, no shirt, just like blasting these screams and talking and all this stuff. And his energy he was creating from nothingness was just, it was bone chilling, bro. Like it was pretty cool. I mean, that's it. And like I've been a part of some cool shows like performing myself, and I've had cold chills on my own experiences, but what that dude did that day in that 100-degree weather was like, and like there's 40 dates on Warped Tour. He doesn't have to do that. You don't have to go that hard, dude. Like you don't. Like we are not expecting that. I would never ever ask you to do a quarter of that, but he did. Wow. And I was like, he's a realist.
That's the crazy thing about Van's Warped Tour, bro, is the fact that they got to break up and break down
every day.
Like shout out to Josh Handy. Do you know who Josh Handy is?
No.
Might need to connect you with him, man. He's a great dude to know. He used to be like one of the hands on the Vans Warped Tour. So he would set up and break down all the stages every single time. And they actually had their own podcast. They had their own TV show on. Spike had some other like Spike 2 or Spike 3 or like one of those like
a behind the scenes Warped Tour thing.
Yeah. It was literally. I think it was called Roadies.
Oh, I remember
the TV show Roadies. Yeah, it was on like Spike 2 or whatever, like the Spike Plus version was. But yeah, he's from Kentucky, bro. He's from like northern Kentucky, and I think he's got his own spiked lemonade out now that he's Handy's lemonade that he's slinging. But
good for him.
He's a great guy to know, man, because he's got some farmland out there in Kentucky somewhere, and he was wanting to throw like a big, like Woodstock style event. Cool. And for somebody like him, bro, like if he wants to throw the event, like he can hire his crew from the Vans Warped Tour to come put everything together. That's right?
The hard part.
It's the hard part. But the fencing, bro, like you never think about that, man. It's like wherever you have one of these events, like you got to make sure the fencing is correct.
Yeah. People be slipping in too. They be sneaking in.
Entire event.
Yes, the whole thing.
Insurance is insane for an event like that.
I mean, it's bro. Like I watch videos, or it might have been on the Roadies show, but they were showing how people would try to sneak into the Vans Warped Tour, and like for instance in Cincy, it wasn't in Cincy, but it was another city that had a river that went right in the middle of it. Kids would swim from Kentucky to Ohio, and sneak in through the little sliver of the fence that they could.
Yeah.
You know, but
there were spots.
But they got caught. They got caught doing it, and like the dude was literally like, "Come on in." You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you guys are gonna,
all that to get
like I'm not gonna make you swim back across the lake,
if you did all
the river.
That, right, you put that much.
Did you see? I think it was Lollapalooza last year. Like, they had people just straight climbing over the fences and they collapsed.
Yeah.
And then tons of people got in. So even a Lollapalooza, you gotta watch out.
There's little like you never think about that stuff, man. Like the bottom dollar, bro. Like when it comes like throwing an event, like all right, well,
security and all that.
Everything comes into play, bro.
Yeah.
So the 10-year plan for Gravel, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, fellas. If everything works out, right? If everything falls into place with what you're wanting to do and how you wanting to do it, where's Graval Baehr in 10 years, and where's Donuts and Alcohol in 10 years?
Well, I don't really put like years on anything, but the ultimate goal, I guess, would be like you were saying earlier. Like I could easily I feel I could easily go to another big city and do some bigger things, and everyone back at home's like, oh look, yeah, he did this. But like I made it a goal from when I started is if I can't do what I want to do here in Cincinnati, then I don't want to go anywhere else. I think that's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like giving up. Like I love the city so much. Even when I first like heard of Lantana when I think I was in high school, it was like hearing that on the radio, I was like, this guy's from here. This is sick, man. Like,
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. I didn't live in the hood. I grew up in Westchester. Like,
Right.
So it's like, but still, even like, there's pride about that. It's cool, man. Like, damn, Bun B and Pusha T are hopping on a Cincinnati guy song.
Mhm.
Insane. So that's always been my goal, is to have someone here pop or be a part of something that pops off on a national scale. Until then, or once that happens, I would love to go to New York. Like, I love New York City so much. I just think I love the atmosphere, how you're able to get stuff done so quickly. With here, I'm sure you ask people and it takes 2 or 3 days to get back to you. But
Oh, yeah.
a creative, your mind's constantly running. You got them ideas. It's like, I want someone to hear this and give me feedback or be a part of it. So like, let's just move faster, guys. Like, but I would love to go to New York. I would love to live there. Just be a part of entertainment and putting people on platforms and kind of being, that curator who people look to and they're like, oh, this guy's got these people on his playlist. I'm going to check it out based off of my trust with that person and their taste of music or taste of movies or whatever. So that would be the ultimate goal. I'm not really sure about, where the branding of Donuts and Alcohol falls along those lines, but personally, I just want to keep progressing and, making my way into like the music and entertainment scene.
Yeah, I mean, and you're working on your craft too, right? You're going to college, or not going to college, but you're going to acting classes. Am I wrong?
Improv, yeah. I've been taking some improv classes.
How's that going?
I absolutely love it.
I bet.
That was something that started. I don't know if you've seen, but we started doing these like Wild and Out type shows at Urban Artifact, where we just had one this past Saturday, but it was Team BTB, which is like Kyrie and they're a dope collective, versus Tribe. It was like Siriamani and all of them, and they would face off. It'd be like Tribe and Friends, so they'd get some other people on their team, but we'd have games like. First game was we had to get 2 words from the crowd or whatever, and then that team had to make a song based on those 2 words that the crowd gave them.
Oh, wow.
They just had a beat.
Yeah.
They killed it. So like that kind of was like, how can I do this better? This was so good. It's so well received. How could I just like get better at it so it's even, we're even a level ahead? So then I immediately signed up for an improv class.
That's incredible, bro.
Yeah, and then I did it. I absolutely loved it. I was like, if I can get up here in front of, our little class was like definitely smaller than here, but they fit like 30 or so people in there at the end of it during like the showcase or whatever. It was like my mom, grandma, brother, and then like a bunch of other random people. But I was like, if I can go out there and do that with nothing prepared, off the top of my head, make people laugh, and do it in front of like the people that I know are going to judge me because they're my parents and they love me and stuff. And
Right.
so I was like, if I can do that, then like what's me getting on stage in front of a bunch of faceless people, like people I don't know at all. So it was just basically to start off just to like kill my nerves, really, to like help me be more comfortable in front of like when I host and stuff.
For sure, and you're investing in yourself too, which is
Yeah.
the big thing, man. Like, and that's super cool that you see something happening, right? And instead of you going, oh, I can do that, right? You go, hey, let me learn and let me get back to it, man. That's like that Coldplay shit. Like, Coldplay came out with that song Yellow and won Grammys, and the first thing Chris Martin did was go and buy singing lessons, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, to me, that's just, you're trying to master your craft, and those are the people that end up churning that milk into butter, bro, and they're able to crawl out of the cup.
We're never going to be perfect. We're never, like, we can always improve. So, yeah. I mean, it just goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's like you can sit there and I could have sat there and been like, this show was dope, man. I'm going to brag about it for the next 6 months.
Right.
Or let it happen, let people talk about it. But while they're talking about it, I'm already, trying to better my craft.
Doubling down, bro. There's another bottle in the fridge in the back, but there's not too much in there. You need another drink, bro?
I'm good.
Cool.
Appreciate it. What are we sipping on? Some kind of tequila.
Camarina, bro. Yam works at one of these liquor stores in it was. It's a tequila that they love, bro. It's super smooth too, man. So it's like, actually, Drake or Patrick took the bottle with him after the podcast. It was that good because he wanted Casa Amigos. Yeah,
That's the popular one.
No, is that no? It's not the one he wanted. He wanted Kevin Hart's.
Oh, he's got a tequila.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, he wanted Kevin Hart's. Yeah.
And I heard it's incredible. But we actually went over to Holiday House. Shout out to Nandu. We're getting a 10% off discount every time we go there now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they're kind of repping on the podcast. So yeah, shout out to Holiday House.
Yeah.
But it was out of stock, and Jan was like, bro, this is the tequila that everyone's talking about right now over at the liquor store he works at. And it's smooth, man. Like I'm not too much into tequila. I like bourbon, but this one gets it done, bro.
Same.
That's been mine for the past couple years. Tequila. Like, give me a good marg or some good tequila. Just gets you in a good spirit.
It's a party drug for sure, bro. Yeah, like tequila always makes you happy. Same thing with red wine, bro. But red wine gives me a crazy hangover, man.
I did like when we were doing the sangria on the episodes. That's something about that.
Sangria needs to come back because that's so easy to drink that you don't realize you're getting drunk until it's too late.
Yeah, I have a special place for the sangria. Like I've had some really cool meetings, and they always just want to seem to drink sangria. So it's always been a thing. And then when we started doing the podcast, I'm like, this is full circle for me. Like, so I'm here for it.
We used to throw these like secret shows or whatever. I think we might little tidbits. We might be bringing them back, but
okay. Hey, man, that's awesome.
We would basically just give people a date, a flyer, no artist on it, no place or anything. They would fill something out, and then the day of, we would email them everything. And by the fourth one we threw, I think the place could only hold like 125. We had 350 people showing up, or like wanting to show up.
That's crazy.
So
bro.
That FOMO, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But what I was getting at is we'd always just get the Carlo Rossi, like the big jugs of it, and then make sangria out of it. So like that was always the go-to.
Is that the one? It's Carlo Rossi's one we buy.
Big glass jugs, yeah. Pretty cheap too.
It's fire, bro. Because
pretty cheap and it's solid.
Over at the party stores, they got like watermelon versions, pineapple version. Like they got all kind of. They got everything over there, bro.
Yeah.
That's the biggest liquor store in the United States of America.
Yeah, like I did not know that until like a couple months ago. I was like, really?
Yeah. Once they got that bourbon distillery in there, they became the biggest liquor store in the United States. And it's so genius too because they're at the very top of Kentucky. So now they're at either the very beginning or the very end of the bourbon trail. How crazy is that, bro?
Wow.
So smart.
That is so smart.
Like they literally, there's no one else that can. I mean, I guess you could put
Joe's Crab Shack or whatever.
A bourbon distillery in Joe's Crab Shack and then have one closer. But yeah, other than that, like
dick move.
Right. That is as intentional as it gets. Right. Right. Bottom of the list, but you're at the end.
It might be actually smart. Do that and then have party stores buy you out so they can have that title of.
They got the money
so
too.
basically, you're just doing a leverage move. That's all it is. I'm gonna do this just because I need leverage. That's pretty smart actually. Yeah. But
do they still have that Braxton Brewery in the back too? So they got the bourbon distillery in the front and then Braxton in the back.
Dude, Braxton's
kills it.
I was gonna say Braxton kills it, bro. They're good all around. Like I thought Rheingeist was gonna be like completely take over Braxton just kind of found.
Well, I think
they have different locations, obviously, but like
I think Rheingeist is thinking globally and Braxton's thinking locally because you can buy Rheingeist in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Rheingeist is just ahead time-wise too. Yeah. So it's just they've had more time for it. But Braxton, like all the moves they're making are just really, really smart. Yeah. So they're doing the right thing. I mean,
that garage beer's fire, bro.
Yeah, it is.
$15 for $15.99 for a 15-pack. Can't beat that, bro.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Can't beat it with a stick. We're actually working on our own. We've got a native beer coming out with 16 lots.
Oh shit.
Next door, yeah. So I'm trying to bring it down where it can be like the $2 beer at all the bars. And Dell, the guy that owns 16 lots, he's like, "Oh, bro, like to bring it down to $2 a beer, like the cans and the labeling that they're doing." He's like, "It's expensive the way we're doing it." I'm like, "Let's make it cheaper." You know what I mean? how do we make the can cheaper, bro?
Yeah.
You know, like obviously, like I understand putting hops in it and other things are gonna raise the price, but we can make a good amber beer. We can make a good Amstel light or like a Sam Adams.
Yeah.
That can go across the board. That's what we're trying to shoot for, bro.
There's enough breweries here to do it. I mean,
Yeah, and they've got a carry license, so they can actually sell 6-packs out of there. So that's the idea, is being able to buy a 6-pack of native beer. The best part is, bro, we've got Fido Dido. I don't know if you remember, like this little white and black character that was used to be in like 7-Up cans in the 90s.
I'm not sure.
He was kind of like the Doug Funny type of artwork, type of character, like the longer with the hair, like his hair, like kind of like that kind of a vibe. But like he was 7-Up's spokes character, if you will. But he didn't speak. He was just their representative. And now they've changed to the spot with the sunglasses, the red dot. So like, but he's available, and so we're using him for a lot. He's part of the tribe now.
So this is gonna be the beer here.
Oh, I have seen that before, and that's dope with all the area codes on it and stuff.
Yeah, the 513.
Yeah, bro, that's the best part. So like, you know, when I was a kid, he was on 7-Up cans, right? And now that I'm adult, if I walk into a liquor store and if I see Fido Dido on a beer can, it's gonna give me instant nostalgia, right? And now I'm growing old with Fido Dido, because he was on the 7-Up cans when I was a kid. Now he's on the beer cans as I'm an adult. I really think there's a lot of play involved there, because it's like it gives it credibility wherever you go. So if this beer is sitting on the shelf in Chicago, you don't have to know native to want to buy the beer. You're going to see Fido Dido and you're going to be like, holy shit, let's get it. You know what I mean? So something like that, like having him as a spokesman for the brand, I think is gonna do real well for longevity.
I mean, you're already like, as soon as you start playing with people's heartstrings and like that nostalgia and everything, like, you're in, man. Like,
yeah, bro.
I think that's what makes this store, like I was saying earlier, like you walk in, see King Griffey Jr. in a Reds jersey on a T-shirt, or whatever.
Adam
else.
Sandler on the basketball shirt.
How do I try to hate it all? Like if I came in here trying to hate, I'd be like, damn it, you got me.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing too, man. We got the DTG printer, so we can print whatever we want to. Like I printed those Jimmy Bucket T-shirt today. And it's like I'll post it online. If people love it, I'll print a bunch of them. If they don't, then I won't. You know what I mean? It's that easy when it comes to having your own printer in house. And so, like, you know, we just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks, bro.
That's definitely. I mean, that's kind of what stopped me from getting merch in the past, because the whole outdated way of going about it is, I'm gonna get 25 XLs, 50 larges, 10 X or extra smalls or whatever, and then you end up with like, you know, 25 just mismatched shirts, and you just sit on them, and you end up getting lazy and, all right, whatever, I don't care about this anymore.
Let's do a new merch drop and see if these ones will sell with the other ones. Like, no. That's that. Yeah, it is a struggle out there. I mean, for years I worked with R&R clothing, and we would do like screen printing. So, but I was pretty much doing like a commission-based like sales system where I would sell and I'd get credit for the T-shirt, and then if I brought the artist in, I would get like credit there too. But the thing is these artists had to order so many shirts to make it worth per shirt, and they would be like, well, I could order more for less, but then they would get to the same thought process, like, well, we need to make sure we don't get stuck on a bunch of 2Xs or whatever. So like it became a balancing game all the time. And it was hard to get people to confirm and get the order done, because we get to the point of like ordering where money's due, and they're like, man, maybe we don't want this many of this. We need to recount. I'm like, all right, man. So then another week goes by. You know how you said earlier that Cincinnati doesn't necessarily move the quickest, because I think it's more along the lines that they don't know what to do. Exactly. I think it's less about them not capable. I think it's just they don't know what to do. Yeah, they think let's release all. It's just that's a conversation. Yeah. But like they would get in the same mindset with the merch selling is, I don't want to buy that. Like, dude, we can't afford $650 on these shirts. What if we get stuck on all these 2Xs, bro? Big guys like our music, bro. Then they're back and forth within the band. Literally within the band, they're arguing. I've seen it in real time. Yeah. And then whole order's off. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at it as, all right, I'm getting my 15% or whatever my cut is and all this stuff. And all that money I was expecting, because it was time to sign the dotted line. Yeah. And they're like now contemplating the sizes. And it has nothing to do with the design. Yeah. They're going to release the design no matter what. It's happening. It's just now they're like, oh, we've got to front this money, and we're not sure if do we do more smalls this run, and it's internal, and they don't even think about that until it's time for brass tacks,
Yeah, exactly.
and that is such a struggle. So like he said, easier to just print it on demand, print as many as we need. You can even choose if you want 4 smalls because you're only gonna have that, but you want to do 6 mediums because you want to get that 10 number and just remove one, like add one. That's cool with that. But with the screen printing, once done is done. And that's it.
No coming back.
No coming back from it. And if you want to add a few more shirts at the end, we can print those 3 shirts they have. It's not a big deal. We can add on. But it's just when you do that screen printing, that order's in, and then you realize, oh man, we have
screen's already been washed.
It's already done. Yeah. And so like you're stuck with an extra 5 smalls when you should have went 5 more larges. And that whole battle is like something that happens. I mean, people that don't do this kind of thing, you wouldn't know, but like that's one of the most common conversations because merch is how you make money.
Exactly.
Musicians can't do it on the Spotify streams. They're not doing it with their YouTube streams.
And merch.
Selling merch, literally. And
used to be selling CDs. Actually, it wasn't selling CDs. The record companies made all that.
You get the very back 15% if you're lucky. So like, it's that's the thing is like the 85-15 split's tough, but with merch,
here's 15% for all the songs and all the
and
shit
you've paid the money out on recording it. You might have a lawyer. There's other things you're paying for out of that 15, but the merch is yours.
Yeah. Outside
of a merch cut out of music venue, the merch is yours, and I think that is. They're gonna print the merch, but do they want to spend that extra? Because each shirt, let's say each shirt's like $8, so 8 times 5, it's $40 more they could put towards larges or smalls. That's a conversation that seems so why, guys, but that is so unbelievably common, and it will stop an order. It'll stop, and you won't be able to put it in, and that is get it, hey, hype, hey.
This is the
Still nabbing at you?
Yeah,
dude. How awesome is it having the podcast in the front window of the store?
I feel
bro?
famous.
Yeah, it's great, dude. Like this is so neat because most companies wouldn't let us allocate 150 square feet to the windows, right? Like Kenwood hated it, bro. They threatened to pull our lease just for having mics in the window.
Man, that was brutal.
Yeah,
brutal experience.
But North American Properties, they saw what we were doing. They built the stage for us, bro. Like they actually came out and did this, and we got the thumbs up and everything. But it's like
shout out to the maintenance team.
Yeah, Aaron's killing it, bro.
Let's just shout out to. Let's get pretty direct with who we're giving the credit to.
Right.
No
Yeah.
offense.
Shout out to maintenance.
Yeah. They had Aaron come out and build us.
He sure did. He did a
stage.
fantastic job. But yeah.
But that's the crazy thing, man. So we're gonna get some decals on the windows for our sponsors and other things, and like we got the QR code up there too, so they can follow the podcast right away. But having it in the front window, man, it's awesome because the store's still open. They can come in, they can stand behind you and say hi to mom or whatever they want to.
Yeah.
But
Like, I think it's cool. It's like you're building the platform. It's at the end of the day. I'm not shitting on anything. Like at the end of the day, this is just a podcast.
100%, bro.
Up against a million other podcasts.
Correct.
But it's all about-
Millions.
but it's all about how are you going to make it special?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And shit like this, like doing it live stream. We're in a storefront. People are up here, chopping up the deuces and
All the time.
You got this cool little space, and it makes us feel so much more special than going to a back room with some shitty mics and dude asking me half-assed questions. So like, yeah, definitely, I love that.
For sure, bro. I appreciate it, man. And this works out for us too because when people walk in, they see if we're not sitting here, they see it and they walk right up to the counter and they go, "What do you guys do here?" And it's like, "Well, we interview local natives. If you've got a business, if you're a musician, or you got an event coming up and you want to promote it, that's the way to do it." And 9 times out of 10, they either want to be interviewed or they know somebody who wants to be interviewed. So it's a perfect introduction to saying, hey, we're local and we're here for other companies too.
And you don't got to do that groundwork anymore where you're out trying to find them all. It's just coming to you.
It's all coming to us.
You sit back now and you got the cool shit now. So sit back, let them tell you who they are, and yeah, it's good.
For sure. The only cool thing we're missing on this podcast are the
little placards or whatever.
No, I've got some of those. I'd love to get them out here, but no, I was talking about the what was it, the MX8s, MX7s?
Oh, the mic.
Yeah, the microphones. They were like $400 each, and I bought 2 of them, and I didn't hear much of a difference between these and those, so I returned them, and I got the 4K cameras because, obviously, doing a podcast, you guys were using the 70D and the 80D Canons, right? And every 29 minutes they turn off. So you got to have somebody like Anthony Prugel back there making sure that they don't shut off and everything. But for us, it's just us. So having webcams that are hot, second you plug the USB in, they're good to go.
Yeah.
And so for us, we can do 4K or we can do 1080p at 60 frames per second. So I went and invested in the cameras because it's like the sound to me didn't sound any different when I bought those Rode mics, but the quality of these at 60 frames per second really does the difference, man. Getting 60 frames here instead of 30 is one of those that really just kind of twist your mind when you're looking at it. Go, that's some quality shit, bro.
You really need to stop if you're scrolling for it. And that's where I'm kind of at with it as well. Like, I understand where I think audio only for people's commutes from work to home and whatever, there's definite value where this is a video audio because we do both, but the audio may not be listened to as much as it is done video because when people are scrolling, that's kind of like when it's happening live.
Right.
When we get to the point where people are listening on back episodes more than they are currently, because I've noticed I'm just seeing all the stats online, like, all right, like I see where they're slowing up, whatever. But like that's the thing is when it's the video is input and it's high quality, people are just scrolling constantly, and if you get this different image with this, like, we've got this the border around the podcast, the screen, like when they stop and see that, there's not only like nostalgia put into it because of the color scheme, but like the high quality camera, you can tell that the time is being put into. So if someone is putting that much time in with video quality, because sound is sound, we're gonna listen to our voices. They're not going to know what camera we're talking about. Right. They have no idea. Like, we know because we're in the industry, but, like, they don't care what's coming on audio. But that video, it's going to get them there, get them in tune ready for the next episode, because maybe the next one they know that person. Mm-hmm. Maybe the next one they recognize that person that's on the podcast. So, like, they don't recognize a voice as easy as they recognize that video. So, like, I'm here for the highest quality as you get on the video end, because that's what's getting people to stop the scrolling and tune in for a little bit. Even if it's 10 minutes, it doesn't even matter how long you tune in for. But that video is what's getting them. That audio is going to happen. People can listen because they know about it. They know the people that are doing it. They know the content. They'll listen because they're already a fan. Video is what gets you first. That's that hook. And then
it's like it's just at the end of the day, I'm a fan. Like, I don't make music. I don't like make stuff like that. I'm a fan of like art and entertainment and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So
Absolutely,
when I'm
bro.
scrolling through this and I'm just scrolling down the page, I notice the quality. Okay, these aren't just two dudes that just started to do this in their basement and it's just they're talking about whatever. It's like, wow, they actually took some time, some effort, and like, therefore, I understand you guys care about it. It's going to make me want to care about it.
For sure.
And
100%, yeah.
even a lot of people, I think just whatever medium you're doing, people got to realize now is we're up against everything. Content, everything. We're up against the NFL. We're up against Billie Eilish. Whatever's on TV, like everything.
AI now.
AI.
It's now coming out.
Whatever. We're literally trying to fight to get little pieces of time of everybody's life. And with stuff like Instagram and just even that type of content now, like I'm sure you guys do it. Getting on TikTok or Instagram, you find yourself scrolling, and you're just next thing you know, you've wasted an hour.
Sure. Yeah.
Quickly.
Like, that's what we're up against as content creators, and that's when it comes down to quality. Like, that's when it comes down to, like, am I going to pay attention to this or this?
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm going to pay attention to the ones that are really putting the quality, and there's like a long-term investment where I'm going to be able to see them in 5 years and be like, I was along for the ride, Like, just like, with any artist you listen to, it's like the same thing,
100%. What you're spewing is exactly what I'm gonna spew. Yeah. Like, literally, like, it's all about the longevity of it, because
progression is key.
Exactly, like the numbers. Like, I do a sports podcast on Wednesday nights here, and we're not live. We record it. And it's posted that same night. But we do most of our like social media sharing the following day on Thursday, whatever. But like, we just record on Wednesdays, and the thing about it is, we're 80 episodes in now, so which is pretty cool. Hit the 80 episode mark. We get trying to view into the lab, see what's going on. Security. Nice. But the thing is like we're 80 episodes in, and even though it's only 80, it's not a huge number. But to me, like it's a decent amount. Like it's 80 weeks, and that's a
people drop out at 12. So
they do for sure.
I think the study shows most people drop out after the third podcast.
Wow.
Number 3 is where they bounce at it.
Sure, yeah, but to me, like, I'm looking at like where are we gonna be, like, because I don't want it to stay how it is. I just needed the episodes to continue. Eventually, I'd like it more like headphones where we're talking like this sports. But right now, it's more like a round table, and we have a mic in the center, and we're gonna kind of chop it up, and it is what it is. But like by episode 130, I want it to be there. Yeah. So I got 50 more episodes to figure it out and get a new system going. But like, I'm still wanting to talk sports every week. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Like, it's just part of. It allows us to do multiple podcasts out of the same store, which is a huge dynamic to me in my mind, and also allows me to enjoy with friends sports. I can't lose there.
Yeah.
Right. It's just part of it.
You're going to do it anyways without the mic, so you might as well
try
to build your brand up.
100%. So I'm going to do it regardless, but you should come on one night. You're wearing a Heat shirt, man. Like, what are your thoughts right now?
Member for the Bengals. So
hey.
I'm down to talk that anytime.
Hey.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then Reds get a little better. Maybe I'll get a little more interested in MLB, but
yeah,
it's been tough.
Yeah, but the problem with the Reds is they're like purposely letting us down. It's not even by accident. It's literally like, just so you know, guys, we're going through a position where we just want you to buy tickets, and we don't want to give contracts out. We don't want to give any money out, but Joey Votto's enough. Just enjoy what you've got right now, and like that is. While the Bengals are,
going crazy. FC's going crazy. Number 1 in the league.
Dude, FC is going crazy. They're living up to that stadium, which is amazing.
But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of controversy behind that, but like, the stadium's beautiful, absolutely immaculate.
Right.
Like,
but for Cincinnati to upgrade, we need to upgrade our quality of what fans are experiencing. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Cincinnati. I mean, a lot of times we talked with Drake Kirkpatrick and Trayvon Williams, and both of them didn't really know where Cincinnati really was on the map. First and foremost, they weren't thrilled about being here, but when they got there, like, wow, this city is low-key amazing. Didn't realize it. Coming from Texas, they were just I mean, when Trayvon was like, dude, I had no idea what was even, like, here. And then I
spent time in Alabama. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Right. But that's the thing, is, like, but when you come to Cincinnati, you realize that it is more than the Midwest. It is city vibes. It's also cultured. It's also really busy. And the bar scenes are popping. So, like, there's a lot going on. You're like, in the Midwest, like, and that's the thing, is like, we'll go back to the music for a second. I got the opportunity to, like, go out to Los Angeles and try out for, like, record labels with our metal band and, like, interview and all that. But when we were out there and, like, experiencing this, like, trying, like, the rock star, like you're out here, you're gonna do that, whatever. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but, like, I'm trying to make moves. I'm not trying to drink with you all every night. Like, we're here for 7 days. Or 5 days it ended up being, but, like, we're here for a week. Let's do what we can. But we'd go out and, like, we went to some clubs with some friends, and it was, like, pretty cool, and they took care of us, and it felt like we had made it, but we hadn't. But I got a lot of so where are you guys from? Because I know you're not from here. You don't look like you're from here. And I was like, what does that mean? But they wouldn't explain on that. And then one buddy told me, he's like, so you're from Cincinnati? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you got out of that Cincinnati spider web, eh? And he mentioned the spider web, and I didn't think anything of it the first time he mentioned it. And then someone else mentioned it. I was like, so what exactly is, because they call it the Midwest spider web or the Cincinnati spider web. They use those fluidly. I was like, why? And they were like, well, a lot of aspiring musicians come out of Cincinnati and Ohio. It's a pretty common thing but they most always never make it. And I was like, huh. And, like, I started looking into it, and a lot of people have come out of Ohio, but they just never got over that hump, But they call it a spider web because you just can't get out. But no matter, you do the best work, but you're never getting the accolades, and you're never given that next level of success. And they just call it a spider web. And when I heard it multiple times, it definitely raised. I was like, buddy was standing there. I was like, dude, did you hear him spider web? He's like, I don't know, man. I was like, all right, that's interesting. I paid attention to it. They weren't even paying attention to the conversation, but I noticed it, and I was like, huh, you're not the only person that has said that, and you don't know the homie that told me the first time. So, like, why is it even a thing that people are, like, talking about? Because so many people try to make the jump out of this Midwest spot with all this talent, because we have so much talent here, dude. Like, you obviously know, doing what you do, like, the talent is insane. These guys coming out here, I'm like, your creativity is off the charts. Why haven't you made it? Well, a lot of them are afraid. There's a lot of factors. We move slower, like you said. 3 years, 3 days, 3 years might as well for an answer.
Right.
But like, that's the thing, is it just, they get caught up in their own heads. They're not like New York, not moving all the time because they know the next person's moving faster.
Exactly.
LA, where the opportunities are, the weather's great, so everyone's positive.
Out there,
Everyone's out every day on the beach trying to look good, trying to do good, trying to be amazing, to just up next to the next guy. Cincinnati, there's not competition like that. Competition is within the little cliques, and it's a lot of hating, a lot of not going to either shows and not supporting as a totality, and stuck in the Midwest, spiderweb. And it made so much sense once it was kind of like explained and we went on about it. But like, dude, it's real. It's crazy. And I didn't even know. Like, it's like a joke behind our back while we're living here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's when I felt
Isn't that
like,
crazy?
it's like what I felt like, because it wasn't the first guy that said it. I was like, why are these multiple people saying the same terminology that
We're
I don't
just-
even know? I know what a spider web is, but like, why is Cincinnati
We're
in
just
that?
that random city. Like, it's so cliche. Just like whenever you watch a TV show or a movie, it's always like, oh, back home in Ohio, or this person's from Cincinnati.
always,
like,
bro.
my cousin in Cincinnati or whatever. Like, it's just, to most people, I feel like it's just that random middle of the map city. But unless you come here and really experience it, then all they know is chili. Like, I can't tell you how many like Kansas City Chiefs like memes pages they pop up on my Facebook all the time now. I don't know why, but they're all just making fun of the Bengals and chili and Cincinnati, and how can you trust someone that will eat this chili on spaghetti or whatever? Like, y'all are focusing on the wrong things, guys.
And the funny part about that is, when someone moves out west, they always ask for people to send the chili back out there. They always ask, no matter what food's out there. People here, they know what's up, and they get it, and like, they'll get it shipped out. I've actually, my friend has it shipped out every time his mom like gives him a care package. He gets 3 to 4 cans, and it's like a month every month. But like, he just wants Cincinnati chili. You can't get it out there. It's just not the way it is. So you're totally right.
Yeah.
And it is. We are a butt of a lot of jokes with that. It is true.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, but that's why there's people like you that like to give that shine and give that opportunity for people that they don't know how to get out of this quote unquote spider web. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what to do. They just know they have a talent. They feel it in their soul because they're performed at a young age, and everyone started gravitating to them every day. And they're like, why am I popular all the time? And then eventually they mature and they realize, oh, I could spit words fast. I was good at poetry, and now I can rap. And now I don't even think twice about it. And no one else can for some reason. Oh, well, that's good. I'll do it. And they record some songs, and you give them that shine. You give them that first interview. You give them that opportunity to speak their truth, their perspective.
Yep.
And that, not many people can say they have done that, because that's a hard place to be in, because you have to build your name up in the same time that these other people are trying to build their name up. So you're doing it in a parallel, but doing it differently, because not everyone is going to watch the same episodes. And we know that here. We do a lot of different types of artists and a lot of different types of creatives and different celebrities, if you will, and different business owners that are all in different lanes. These people are not promoting to each other's crowd. A lot of times, not at all. Like, whether it's a musician or someone that's dealing with trauma, or a football player. Obviously, the football players are appealing to everyone because everyone wants to watch them. But they're still not appealing to the people that we've had, like someone that deals with like holistic healing and trauma. They're not going to the same people. There's no even crossover unless the person just happens to like sports a little, because they're dealing with the trauma of what they dealt with. This person's like, where's the tailgates? You know what I mean? And so, like, there's two different people, and we've interviewed both, and we have to understand that when we're having the conversation, it's not the same.
Right.
And it's that adapting is hard to do, and you're adapting the same. Like, I'm sure you probably, I mean, you did many episodes in a row in the same day, so like, you're going from one to another. I'm sure the vibe completely changes, because them, it's their first interview. It might be your 6th
Of the day. Yeah.
of the day.
Gotta be exhausting, bro.
Dude, it's got to be draining, and it's got to take so much energy. Like,
What helps you get through that is do shit that you love. And I mean, at the end of the day, after every interview, I can't tell you how many times during the 5 years that we were doing that, I was just like, I want to quit, dude. This is fucking stupid. We can't get the studio this time, or someone canceled on us, or maybe someone in the group and I weren't getting along, or just didn't have the same ideas, and I would want to quit. But after every interview, I just got a smile on my face. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I kept with this. Like, this is exactly what I need to be
bro.
doing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
And it was just, I think it's okay to ask yourself a lot every step of the way. Like, you know the door's right there. Like, you can walk out, you can do it right now. But
Check yourself.
yeah, but every single time the answer is like, no, I don't want to quit. So like, that's how I know I'm on the right path and I'm doing what I want to do. I mean, I work a shit job, but this makes it all worth it. And you know, once this takes off, then say bye to the shit job and
Right.
living life.
Literally.
I like they say once it takes off, like you're so confident in the foundation that you've built, right? That you know that you can only go up from here.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then-
not going to allow myself to you know, fail at it. Like, I'm not gonna be failing either way. Like, I'm doing something that I really want to do. So when I'm older, have kids, whatever, I can be like, at least I tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go to bed at night, not, you know,
What if
I, you know, stuck with that and didn't just get this office job? You know,
Right.
how much different would my life be? I'm gonna figure it out, and you know. we
I
got
mean,
time still.
and I know I said this in the beginning of the podcast, man, but from an outside perspective, you are a personality. You are somebody that needs to tell the story. You're somebody that needs to pull the story out of people because you're that dude, man. You're that guy that I'm 100% confident would, if you apply for MTV or if you apply for Complex in New York, they will give you the time of day because you are the type of person they're looking for, man.
I agree.
You're
means a lot,
you're
guys,
cut
for real.
you're cut from your own cloth, right? And you're very relatable in so many ways, but what you're doing is you're almost like Superman, letting people come in and steal your kryptonite, right? Like you're here and you're like, look, man, I don't want to do this, but this is for you and me, right? So I'm gonna tie my shoes back on, and I'm gonna take that sip of water right before the podcast starts, and I'm gonna put 100% in on this podcast, right? Because we never know, like the people that we're interviewing, bro. We never know where they're gonna be in 10 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the people that you're interviewing, they're just on the cusp of being great. So it's like you got to take every single conversation that you have into heart because you never know which one of these little rugrats are going to be the next Travis Scott.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Exactly.
Like bro, we get so many artists that come in here and they're like, "Oh, I'm a rapper. You know, I've got music," and I tell them, "All right, well, just tag us in what you want us to see." Tag the Native Brain and what you want us to see, and then we can get you scheduled on a podcast because that's brass tacks. If you've got good content out there that people are relating to, send it to us, and if we vibe with it, we'll 100% get you on the podcast because a lot of the times, you know, we've got 4 podcasts a month, right? And so they fill up quick, but like every podcast, you know, we got people that drop out day of. So we gotta pivot and figure out, do we bring somebody in or do we just do a tribe episode, right? And like those are the things that you deal with on a daily basis. But as long as you put 100% in on your side of the fence, you're not going to lose.
Yeah.
There's no way of losing.
I enjoyed the tribe episodes. I like what it does.
So do I.
Yeah, because like
It's a recap of everything that's
Yes.
been going on.
and like we get to like talk about what we're doing like it's at the same time because we get to like, all right, well, we're busy people in general. We're also, you know, we're interviewing a lot of people, but we're also just doing as much actively as they are out off the camera.
Yeah.
We're very
Right.
busy people, so like it's fun to talk about what we're doing and what the progress we're making because like it's all documentation, and that's kind of how I view it. This is history in the making, so like every episode is history of some degree, and we talk about it, and we talk about recent events that are happening, stuff that's happening with Kanye West, and conspiracy theories that like people aren't willing to talk about, and just stuff like that. Like we're just here for it, no matter what the content is, whether it's ends up being the truth or not, because you know conspiracy theories are that theories, but like who knows? I want to be on the in the know
Forefront,
side of
yeah.
things. So if I'm on a podcast, people give me information like, hey, you should check out this conspiracy theory. You might want to learn about this. Like birds aren't real, like whatever the case may be. Like, you know, but like that's the thing. I would rather at least be educated on the possibility that it's real than instead of being like blindsided, like, oh my gosh, have a conversation. And an open-mindedness from others allows us to have an open discourse. And I'm really here for it because this is history. We're living it right now. Every bit went through 9/11, all these different things over history that have shaped America to this time. And I think we're still feeling the waves of 9/11 that long ago. With 22 years? Like, and we're still feeling waves of that. We're talking about
the butterfly effect,
it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And like we're in all these ripple effects that are happening from that, we're still talking about to this day in the politic end of things. And we don't even talk politics much here. It's not about that. It's not my favorite topic, but I know it affects music and it affects all these actions of every person.
Trickle down effect.
It trickled down effect. And like, it's history. So the tribe episodes, when someone were to cancel and we have to pivot, I'm here to pivot. I'm here to do that. Like, I'm basketball to the core, man, and pivoting is part of the game. And like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, it just is. And I think we do a good job of not getting complacent. We all treat ourselves at like top of the food chain of whatever we're doing because we're here to show others that you can do it too. Just do it.
Right.
Like Nike said it. Like, literally, just do it. Just do it, man. Like, you don't have to wait for someone to give you your raft to save you on the water. Find it, figure it out, and get aboard. Like, and it's just the way it is. Like, that's no one's doing it for you. It's just not happening. So, like, I enjoyed the tribe episodes. I enjoy talking to open-minded people and even closed-minded people because sometimes you might shed a little light where they're not thinking. You know what I mean? Like, so many people come in, I'll say, like, something about a conspiracy theory. You guys into them? Like, aliens, this, and like, you're into that stuff? I'm like, so do you think the world is flat or do you think the world is round? Well, it's round, obviously. All right, so what is outside of the round? Doesn't matter to me. I was like, well, you know, technology's going like 100 miles per hour constantly because it's gonna maximize because of multiplication. Now the AI's here, it's gonna multiply even faster. So you know, here soon, the possibility of going to space is gonna be in every man's doorstep. Probably by the next 30 years. Yeah. So like, they want to get off this planet. So do you then care about what's off the planet?
Because it doesn't affect.
But they don't think it like that exactly. But I might say that to them, and all of a sudden their wheels kind of start. I've seen it in real time. They're like, and they might discuss it with their girl or whoever they're with. Like, maybe I should maybe we should look at this. Either websites do you find this stuff on? And I'm like, go to YouTube. Just look up the Dark Knight satellite, and let's go from there. Just something crazy, and then people will be open-minded because they just haven't been exposed. People they're around might be religious. There's so many things. Nothing on religion, but like, a lot of times on the religion end, they don't want to talk about that. They keep everything spiritual. So like, there's just dynamics that some people don't see. So I'm here to throw out my 2 cents, and if you want to put it in your pocket, cool. If you want to leave it on the ground, and maybe some guy will find it. Like, that's the thing, and that's my first thought every time I get onto a podcast. Like, how can I just think of something and like throw it out in the world and see if someone vibes? And if we vibe and we're in agreement, then let's build a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of like what you're saying about like, this is history. Like, people with any type of content, music, podcast, whatever, once you put this stuff on the internet, it's there forever.
Forever.
Someone can rip it.
It's in the catacombs or something.
But
yeah.
like, there's even like archives and stuff. People can go back and see that. So like, just keep that in mind when you're creating content. It's gonna be out there forever. Them songs you make, what you say. Like, a lot of people getting canceled and stuff now for stuff they said back in the day. But it's like, I'm glad I kind of came up in an era where like I know now like, it's not worth it, dude. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and. There was a point in time where like I would get on Facebook or whatever and like, this is what I think, politics, blah 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 blah. But at a certain point, you're like, is this really constructive? Or I'm not one to like just say things for controversy.
Sure. Yeah,
so like, it's a waste of time, really. But yeah, it's just like you gotta know that stuff's gonna be out there.
Yes,
you can't just speak freely, and you can in private, but in public, it's a whole other thing.
You're down for you're going to get the criticism. The criticism's going to come if you speak freely, and I'm always prepared to take it. People can come at me with whatever they want, and I'm always open to have a conversation. Like, I have no shame in my game, dude. Like, I don't care. Like, I consider myself like a local public figure in the sense of like, I'm willing to just be like, hey man, my profiles are here. I don't keep private. You can check out my Instagram. Like, I have a daughter. Like, I have things going for me. I'm not like anything special. I just do my own thing. I live in my own lane. I am who I am. I'm Andrew Eisler, and I'm here to stay. Like, as long as the universe will keep me here, I'm staying. So like, we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
But like, Like, I'm not here to offend anyone. People might get offended. They might have hate. They might whatever in their heart, and that's a them problem,
Right,
or it might be a
exactly.
them solution. I don't care. Like, it doesn't even matter to me, because I'm gonna stay going.
So everything's good on my end.
Everything's
bro.
good
Like,
on my
so
end.
Whatever you got going on with me, that's some internal shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is totally internalized, and I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I'm greater, better, or anything of
Yeah.
the sorts. It's not about that. It's just like when I was 13 years old, dude, I was playing bass at my parents' house on their computer, a desktop like everyone else had on dial-up internet, and like I was playing my bass and playing RuneScape and just like clicking. And I'm 34, so like I'm in that ballpark with you, and like I'm just like I was just like playing to like all these bands. Red Hot Chili Peppers is actually how I Fleas, who I practiced to. We mentioned the Chili Peppers earlier. I listened to them constantly in high school, so like I didn't burn myself out, but like I broadened my horizons eventually. But they were the only thing I listened to. I would RHCP shirts every day. I had these coolest ones. Like it was my thing. But I just loved the music, and I could just play RuneScape and click, and it would just keep my head in the same frame, and I would learn it, and I would learn it by ear kind of, then learn tablature, and I just kind of built from there. And then I joined my first metal band because I discovered some heavier stuff, and The Day to Remember came around, and all these other bands, and like I just kind of like expanded on this, and then The Fall of Troy and all these other, I started getting better, and then it just like it compiled to that, and I became a vocalist, and then I got to do some touring and did some fun stuff, but like no one did that for me. I was just interested in it. I like to do it, and some people were rubbed the wrong way because eventually, like I was in a locally pretty popular local metal band, and I have no tattoos. I have none, and I was frontman at the end. Yeah, it comes with a lot of criticism. It does. It's something I didn't realize was criticism at first. Like people were like, "You don't know tattoos?" I'm like, "Yeah, man," because like my drummer had like a skull on his neck. So like we had like opposite ends of the spectrum, really, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to earn something. I wanted to get signed, then get my first tattoos and go from there. And I was kind of like on this path, and I had offered from quite a few pretty large bands on Warped Tour to tattoo me for free, and I could have been tattooed by some of my favorite artists on Warped Tour, but I disciplinedly said, you know what, I'm going to stick to my guns and how far we've come.
Yeah,
and
like,
let's go, man.
Yeah.
Let's go. And but I will. I want to get Charlie's on me and like her birth year and all these different things with her and a bug and ladybug and stuff. I want to do some stuff, but at one point I wanted like a wolf on me, and it's just a bunch of different things I wanted because it's just who I was. But then I realized it wasn't the important thing. That wasn't what I was going for. I was just like, that was just a goal to eventually get to. It was really about the journey, and the journey was fun, man. Like, dude, I'll tell you, I've told this on one of ours before, but like, we were going to a Warped Tour one time, and a wreck happened of Kellogg, like where the Warped Tour exit was. So me and my band, I always printed off like 500 burnt CDs, and I would handwrite every single one, our information and stuff. And but it was a wreck, so the whole highway was chopped down. So I had the whole band get out of the cars, and we walked down the highway. And I just handed the CDs out into every car.
That's pretty tight.
The whole way down, yeah, man. All the way down the highway, all the way till we got on the bridge. We started walking on the bridge some to go down there because we were coming from Fort Thomas, Kentucky, which that exit was just literally right onto the highway to the Warped Tour. And but we got down, and we finally got rid of every CD. We turn around and we're like, well, we don't know when traffic's gonna pick back up. We better walk back. So we start walking back, and everybody was on the same song.
That's
The whole way,
genius.
dude. It was such a moment. Like it was so great. It felt top of the mountain, man. I'm just walking up and everyone's listening to the same music, and it wasn't the highest quality recordings at that time for us. It was early on, but like, man, I can't even that experience. I was here for it. No cameras, no video. I didn't have Snapchat. Like nothing like that was happening. It was just,
Hand-to-hand,
yeah,
instant feedback too. I mean, like
right away, yeah.
I kind of had a similar story to yours when I was younger. Like, I just loved music. I was curious. I was like, from like 13 to 15 or whatever. I would come home every day from school. I'd get like a little Mountain Dew or something. My parents wouldn't be home for like 2 or 3 hours. I'd hop on the computer and just sit there. I'd be getting on all the blogs, Kanye to the or Hot New Hip Hop or whatever, and just trying to be the first one to find these songs so I could post it and be like, y'all heard this yet? Like, just as
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
like hype beast kid.
Super fire.
But
That's
yeah,
fun, though.
like
That's
I would
fun.
I would do that every day, and like from there, then start, had a Rock Band mic, like from the game Rock Band.
Oh, nice,
Plug
yeah.
it right
Yeah.
into the computer.
Okay,
Me and
then,
my
yeah.
friend Connor would would sit there and just write little raps or whatever, and find the hottest beat and go in GarageBand. Absolute dog shit music, but it was us exploring,
Yeah,
creativity and stuff. And from there, we kind of made this group called Dimnatty Boys, which was 4 white kids from Westchester over some, bullshit beats. But it was just people in the high school. We pass out mixtapes and stuff. They were rocking with it because they knew us and stuff. But from there, I kind of was like, all right, like I obviously not gonna make it as a rapper, so. From there, it's like any way I could get into the music scene. And finally, I took a couple years off of high school, and then I went to Hocking College out by Athens. It's like right next to OU, and took like a music business class there. Ended up interviewing people, and then from there, yeah, it just turned into.
That's where Gravel started his
cool.
grind. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like even like
Similar story for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris Turner, who's our engineer, I met him in college. He's from Cleveland. Ended up bringing him down here, and he's like the head guy at Timeless now. So like, yeah, we just kind of like found something out there. And to be honest with you, I'm still not like the most outgoing guy, but like all of this is. I used to be so shy, like afraid to just like go up to people and talk to them or whatever. But like this whole process is like building me into a new person, gotten me out of my shell. If you would have told me, 15-year-old me, that I'd be getting on stage in front of like 200-300 people and just talking freely, like, yeah, it would have blown my mind, man. Like, so this whole thing, if anything, has helped me get out of my shell. So for personal growth, like, even this has been great.
That's incredible.
That
man.
is incredible. And like to think that you had your expectations were low at that young age, and you just far exceeded. That's such a challenge because you're overcoming so much internally to even.
Exactly.
That isn't included the external where people
Right.
can say, no, bro, you're not good enough to even do any of this, so you got to stop at go. Like there will people do that. They will.
For sure,
It is what it is. Like, and for me, I'll be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna put the event at a different location. Like that's like all right, okay, like cool, man. Like your path isn't my path. We're going this way.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of, I mean, that mine was similar. So I moved down to Lexington. There was a school there. I would like there was UK, which is where classes I was in those, but I wasn't as excited as this school called BCTC. So it's a community college, and like the newspaper was open there. Like UK, the newspaper. I was in journalism, and like the newspaper wasn't as open there. It was just not available. You could take people from outside the UK could come in and write for them. Like it was a hard. Like they had people on the staff that weren't even UK students that were just employed and stuff. There was just like a whole thing. I was like, there's a lot of competition here, but I was willing to be a part of it. Whatever. Then I found out the community college next door, BCTC, offered the same stuff, same classes, same professors. They were just taking a little bit of pay cut to just have extra classes. And I was like, oh, this is the secret. That's what everyone does here. So I just started doing all BCTC classes as much as I could, and I kept, I could be able to do the UK to go to the games and stuff because I'm a big UK hoops fan.
Yeah.
Kind of comes with UK's. You don't go to UK unless you're doing some special thing or you're a UK fan. It is what it is. But so I got into the BCTC program, and the teacher, she had this friend that was from New York City. She was part of the New York Times, all this stuff, and so she was bigwig in her little world. And I'm like writing some articles and stuff, and a lot of copy edits. So I'm like, I could find errors and stuff pretty quickly, and I was good at that. But she recognized what I was able to do. And one day, like, we're like, yeah, she's like, all right, class, everyone gets their section of article. Like, what do you want to do? Like, topics. Here's what you're getting. So she started handing out topics, and some people got different stuff. And she handed me one, and it was a question mark. And I was like, what's the question mark really? And she's like, I'm gonna let you choose what you want to do. And I was like, why? She's like, I was like, just what do you are most passionate about? And I was like, and she knew I was going to say music because she could tell who I was. And she's like, and she knew music. So when I brought up music, I was like, I want to like go to live concerts and I want to cover them. And she's like, then do it. You get this much of on the paper, on this many inches, and you write article, go to those concerts, and interview whoever you want, and we'll see how it goes. And I was like, all right, I'll go there. And she's like, well, I don't know what you're still in class for. Go find out. Go do the stuff. I was like, all right. So I literally left And I found a concert. There's not many in Lexington, so that was kind of a challenge. But I did find the metal kids, and I did find the hardcore scene, and I did join them. And I met these guys, the band called Omarosa, and all these. I just started linking up with all these like talented guys because I knew what to look for, and I got to go to studios and all this stuff. And I was interviewing a bunch of people, go to these concerts, and I started interviewing like crazy, covering every show that I could. And before you know it, went from like 2 inches. Then she gave me double the size, and my article got bigger and bigger. And by the end of the semester, I had like the biggest one in the class because I got just to interview musicians, and I just loved it. And she just recognized my passion, and she doubled down, and she was smart about it. I didn't know. I was just a college kid. I hated all the rest of the classes, but I didn't like journalism in the sense of prying in. That's why I eventually stepped away because I don't want to be getting coffee and then prying into people's lives.
Yeah.
I want to interview on my terms, kind of like who I want to interview, not you're forced to do this because this is hot right now.
Well, yeah, and like I never wanted to be the guy that's like trying to get the scoop or trying to
Scoop, exactly.
dive in like you said this, but you really did this. What's up with that? Like, no, man. Like, we're not doing this TMZ shit, this clickbait shit. No. Like,
But that's what they want. That's what they want in journalism. Literally,
that's what
like
gets views.
exactly, and that's what I didn't want to do. That's why I kind of stepped away from it, and I moved back to Northern Kentucky and got a degree in communications with a minor in journalism because I was so burnt out. Because I covered I covered the smoking ban personally in Lexington, so you can't smoke in like anywhere on the campus, and people hated it, and I was the enemy. And I was just covering the story, dude. I was just covering a story on smoking ban, and they got mad at me. I'm like, dudes, like, I am just covering it for the school. That's it, man. And they were like, no, you're the devil, man. You're the smoking ban. We want to smoke everywhere. I'm like, bro, that's their rules. I'm just covering it. So people like got in my face weirdly, and then I covered the horse racing, the equestrian games, and that was really difficult. So all these things were like not music, and I didn't feel as much into it. So I kind of had to step away. But I found myself interviewing musicians anyways, and doing some other stuff with like music, and so like I found my way there. But it wasn't that path. But she gave me the opportunity. She was like, "Go cover concerts, have fun, Andrew, and let's see what you got." And that was just that same thing, like college, man. It's that time for exploration.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have the guy that ran like the music program or whatever. I ended up like developing a great relationship with him because I was like one of the only ones like. I was lucky enough where I had taken like a year or two off after high school before I went out there just to like know that I'm ready. Like I'm ready for the opportunities you give me. So I was one of the only ones I was a couple of years older than the other kids. So I was ready for those opportunities. I wouldn't take them for granted as like a 18-year-old would, just coming straight out.
Yeah.
I'm going to college because it's going to look good for my parents or whatever. And I'm going to go for music because that's what I like. But I'm really just trying to, go do something easy. But for me, it was like, yeah. And then Scott, who was like my advisor or whatever, he was like, all right, you're with it. All right, I'm gonna put you in the radio show, do the interviews. Chris will do the engineering. You book and do all that, and then come work at the Union, which was the big venue there. Like work the door, intern or whatever.
Cool.
So like, just to have someone like believe in you or whatever, or like trust you. Like that teacher was like, you know what? Go do what you love. Like that's obviously the right idea. Like it just means a lot.
It does. Yeah. It changed my. I mean, I was burnt out on journalism when I came back to NKU. I was reluctant, but I had to take 2 more classes to get the minor. Literally, I was just like, man, like I have been tapped on it because I got all these cool opportunities, but I had like at the end I had done so many good shows there. I was just like, I'm ready to move on from this and see what else I can get my win. Like not under the school. I don't need to be under them anymore. But then I was like, but I'm stuck just doing journalism. I should change this. So I chose to go an extra year, do the 5-year thing, and do communication so I could have a broader degree. So I chose like public speaking. I got a public speaking certification we taught classes at like Red Cross and United Way. It was really cool, but it opened my eyes up to even more. So when I would be on stage, that helped me too. Exactly. But the journalism always sits with me because I'm doing it now. But like without that teacher, like her forward thinking, like I wouldn't have known it was even a possibility because like she was like, "Go have fun, go do it."
Yeah, you're
but
probably thinking that you'd had to cover the smoking.
I did. I really
stock market or
she was handing all these things. Literally, she was handing the stuff out to them, and they were talking about it. I got this question mark, and I was just like, I had to ask her. I was like, "What's that mean? Like, what do you?" And she's like, "Well, you choose." And she's like, "I know you will do it, right? The right thing, whatever." And I chose music, and she was expecting it because she knew me. I dressed the way I was the only you can always tell a musician in most cases because he just usually sticks out amongst the crowd and all in black most of the time, just the way they carry themselves. And so she she knew what I talked about, so she was like, "Be in the adult in the room, and you'll figure it out. Do something." And I popped up the idea, and she's like, "Well, I don't know why you're still in class for. Everyone's dismissed. You can go get it done." Like, we had 30 minutes left, but it didn't matter. We had to turn this assignment in. But every week we'd have to correct. You get this page, and you had 100 mistakes on it, and that was it. So if you found 80 mistakes, you got an 80 out of 100.
Oh wow.
So that was the hardest. I mean, I got good at it, so I was able to get like 95 out of 100 most of them because I was like finding them. But we had this much time to find all the mistakes, and that was like people flunked because of that, because it's hard to find mistakes in writing, like even down to the apostrophes,
grammar,
everything.
commas,
Exactly.
right.
So you like even misspellings on words, like red and red, like RED compared to READ, and like stuff like that. Like people would miss those little things, and it was hard.
You correct those kind of like.
Yeah.
Have you ever read like one of those things where it's like the first and last letter are the same, but everything's jumbled up, but you can still read the whole thing?
Crazy, right?
Yeah, like you just automatically correct that in your head subconsciously. So like something like that. Yeah, I mean, you could just be reading along, and this all looks good, you know?
Right. But you knew it wasn't. You know there was 100 mistakes,
Yeah.
and you had to figure them out. And that was the hardest. Her class was not easy. Like I felt very lucky that we came to that point because it was pretty far. Like it was like about half through the semester that she had gotten the vibe, and she was like, "Here's the next thing. We're all gonna get portions of the article, and you guys are gonna put them out." And we're like, "All right, cool." She's like, "I got a few topics that I know you guys are interested in. Blah blah blah, and here's what you're getting. Each one gets a sheet. Here you go." And she handed them it. And mine just had that, and I was just like, "Oh, what is this?" And it became music was my thing. I chose to go that route and loved it. So much fun, except the fact that Lexington has very little music. That's the area.
That's
like
how it was with Athens. Like literally,
Oh, yeah,
just
sure,
a
yeah.
college town in the middle of nowhere, and there was no hip hop. So like that's where my roadblock was. There might have been 2 other people in the program that were okay with hip hop. Everyone else was like some just played out rock stuff.
Sure.
Like just some
yeah,
like what our dads would listen to.
rock
like
and roll
type
Hall of
stuff.
Fame
Yeah,
stuff.
and it's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
cool and all, but like I cannot relate with anybody. So that kind of already set me apart. And then Scott, who was the advisor, or whatever, super punk dude. Like I was talking about earlier, like them older punk dudes that just listen to punk. Everything after that shit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like it was just really kind of hard to like do what I wanted to do, but I at least learned how to do it. So when I came back to Cincinnati, I had the game plan and could do what I wanted to do.
And you overcame like the genre battle there. Like
Yeah.
when you come to Cincinnati, like everyone's on your side now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I don't only listen to hip hop. It was just that was like, to be honest with you, the most accepting group that I feel like I've dealt with. Like as soon as we put Donuts and Alcohol out, the first episode, it really started just as I'm throwing these shows. I need to connect these people with the artists I'm putting on the shows so they'll feel the need to go. That's how it started. But as soon as we put the first one out, everybody, I have all sorts of new followers and friends and people in my DMs and stuff. So,
but that's been hip hop in general. I think Cincinnati, especially, in the short sense.
Hey, hun, the Shogun in the building. What's
in
up,
the
baby?
house, bro. What's up? What's up?
Listen,
Welcome.
Man, Gravel's in the building, so I was
Yeah,
kicking
bro.
it.
Yeah.
I had to hop off Discord out of our podcast stuff, but I would say too that like you've been a staple for and around hip hop in Cincinnati for quite a long time.
For
so
sure has,
like,
bro.
if nobody gives you your flowers, sir, you should always have them. You know what I'm saying?
I really
because
appreciate that.
number one, like, you know, coming from it culturally, I do get it and I understand. Like, I talk to a lot of my white friends, but like a lot of my white friends have actually put me on to a lot of other artists that I normally wouldn't listen to. So that's why I appreciate like the acceptance that you have in hip hop, is because you can step into any genre or any subgenre, so to speak. But
Chameleon,
you know, the
bro.
fact
Yeah,
that like Donuts
100%.
and Alcohol, which, you know, dude, I would say that's probably the most significant thing that I've had people relate to Cincinnati in regards to music, hip hop.
100%. 100%.
So, like, that's a testament to like what you guys did and continue to do. So, you know, being able to have a chance to ask, what do you think in your mind is the next expansive development that can happen and should happen within hip hop in Cincinnati, or at least within the area, right? Because it's not just Cincinnati. I think like just tri-state area, it is a beacon, but it's not.
I think there just needs to be, as of right now, compared to what people have told me about the past about Cincinnati, I think people are actually working together now and coming together. There's different groups. It's still very cliquey, but it's getting a lot better. So I think
they're starting to realize that there's power in numbers here.
Oh yeah, like just imagine, like I even say this, like you go into shows and stuff, and you see someone on stage. If all the people they brought on stage with them were in the crowd, this place would look packed.
Right.
So if an artist got 40 people on stage but performing to like a
30 people.
Yeah, 30 minute
right.
Instead of 70, it's like, what are we doing? I think there's got to be more people accepting of hip hop that are in higher positions that can kind of guide these people, because I sit here and speak to people till I'm blue in the face, and they just don't listen to the ideas I have, or like what I've seen, or how I've just studied other big artists. Like, I'm sure you came around the same time I did, like the whole blog era.
Of course.
I've been listening to this podcast that just goes deeper into it and all this stuff, and like how much of like renegades they were, and they were like taking these songs before they even put out and putting them on the internet, and the labels were coming after them and stuff.
Right.
So like, there's got to be this kind of, if we're underground, let's be underground. Let's share these ideas with each other. Let's really stick it to the man or the corporate, the 3CDC or whatever the hell they are, whoever runs everything downtown Cincinnati, their spaces. Like, let's stick it to them. Let's show them that we are what's dope. We are what they need to be investing in.
Right.
This is what Cincinnati is. But people get lazy, they get one accomplishment, they stop doing it, and then it's just, by the next thing you know, you're 35, and hip-hop's a young man's game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can still keep rapping at 35 or whatever, but you gotta have some skin in the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're still playing the mock B or whatever else, and it's like, that's cool, but what are we doing here, you know?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
I was
something you mentioned. Sorry, fellas.
You're
like,
good, you're
'cause
good.
This
Get in there.
Really, I think it's an interesting conversation to have, especially about like music in Cincinnati in general. I think that there are practitioners of like wanting to help music grow in the city, right? There's a bunch of people that we could sit here and chart off, but I do believe you, and I think it's important to like hit on the nail on the head, what you said earlier, where it's like now people are starting to work together. So with like Crabs, where there were a lot of people that legitimately were just trying to, like, I got to make sure that I eat, but I'm going to shit on this dude over here. Versus, like, hey, maybe it's not my turn to go up yet, but I'm going to pump this dude up, right? What you said about, like, if you got all the people that are on stage with you, you put them in the crowd, now the 20 people that are in the crowd turns into 50, and now the 30 people that are hyping up the other 20, yo, listen, those extra 20 just became fans in a much easier way.
And guess what?
100%.
You make a video
for sure.
of that, you put that on Instagram. Now you've got 1,000 people, 1,000 followers looking at that. It looks like a packed crowd. People are having fun. They're like,
they're not missing the
oh,
next show.
shit, okay. I remember this dude. He was
Yeah.
just making shit and putting it on SoundCloud. Now he's got a venue filled to the brim, and they're all having fun on a Saturday night. Okay, I'm gonna check the next one.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big issues with trying to get everything accomplished all in one night, right? Like, you know, you've got the music, you've got the venue all set up, and then you forget to hire a photographer. Photographer will cost you $200, $300, but the response you're gonna get on Facebook and everything afterwards is gonna be huge, man.
Huge,
So it's like those are the things that you need to invest in yourself, right? Like, you know, take that $200 and put it into the price of the venue, right? So if you're paying $500 for the venue, just look at it like it's $700 for the venue. Make sure you have that photographer down there, because you never know how the crowd's going to react. But the one thing that you don't want is to not have the footage if the crowd was vibing with the song that you had. You know, because it doesn't need to be a full crowd of 400 people for it to look good, right? Like, you got a photographer that's hiding behind the group that's wilding out while he's on stage is going to look insane, right?
Right. Yeah,
So
there's ways
there's
to manipulate it.
yeah, and for $200, you've got that footage which you've never seen yourself perform on stage, right? So being able to see it through the lens of somebody else's vision that knows how to make it look packed and make it look like you're the man, you know, that $200 is going to go way further than you thought. And like I said, the last thing you want is to not have footage of how dope last night was.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we've had that issue before. We've thrown events, and it's just like no photographer. It's just like we were so busy on trying to get everything together
I forgot
that
about the simplest.
we forgot the most simple thing is to make sure that we document everything that we're doing. You know, and that's the thing that, especially in today's age, where everybody's in 5 seconds, and they're moving on to the next reel, right? So like you gotta capture these people within 5 seconds, and then, you know, if you got them for that 5, then for the next minute and a half, they're yours, right? So
Hell,
so
if I like it too, I'm clicking on that profile and going down your reels or whatever.
100%,
Yeah.
because then you're like, damn, all right, so let's see what else he has. Does he have merch out? Does he have hats? Does he have CDs? Like, so then all of a sudden you're on his page.
Next? Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So that's the thing, man. So it's like, you know, just setting yourself up for success. Like, you know, the $200, it may seem like a lot in the front of things, but just add it into the cost of the venue.
Yeah.
And look at it that way, because you're gonna want that footage later on, and you're gonna kick yourself for not paying the extra $200.
'Cause, yeah, the events they literally come and go.
Yep.
It's Friday night, Saturday you
Bro,
wake
it's-
up,
it's-
it's over.
It's
Man, we've been planning this Harambe event for 2 months, bro. And just like that, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like, all right, like Saturday was his birthday. Sunday is when they killed him. So it was like, all right, so Saturday and Sunday we're gonna do an event here. We got a DJ involved in the whole 9, and
It was fun.
it was fun,
The,
bro.
the party was a good time. Like me and Johnny B, we chilled here. He played some tunes, and people came in because that bass was bumping, man. It was a great setup, and people came in. They bought some Harambe stuff, like the candles, shirts. Like it was a good time. A lot of people had no idea. People came in like Harambe, like, yeah, it's his birthday today. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, tomorrow's his death date. And they're like, oh my, what? And everyone's got their phones out, looking up. It just blows
people's mind
minds, yeah.
when they find out that he was killed the day after his birthday.
It is
That
crazy.
fucked up.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked
It
up.
is, it
Already.
is.
Rest in
Fucked
peace,
up,
Harambe.
But
But
I
didn't get to finish the cake, bro.
Damn.
didn't even get
Pour one
to
out.
Out for the
for real. Here's the
fucking
Harambe.
Yo, so
Harambe.
Gravel, I do have a question for you.
Yep.
Rest in peace. Big ups to
R.I.P.
Harambe. You know, dicks out. And this is a question that I ask to a lot of creatives, creators, just people that are just artistic spiritually, right? What is your dream sequence? What does that look like? What would you want to have, right? That, like, when you woke up in a day or a week, what would that feel like for you, either passion-wise, occupation-wise, all those things? What would you like to see?
I would like to wake up in a high-rise apartment in a big city. I put on my Gucci loafers and have breakfast, and then I go out and create all day. I have my own studio or whatever, invite people to come through. They can do music there, art, have some type of platform where they're not only creating art, but they can put it out there, and people trust the brand, and and just be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if we're not happy doing this, then what's it all for?
That was the answer I was trying to get for that 10-year question.
That is the 10.
It's basically, I mean, the
Just-
same.
he
Yeah.
just asked a
You
better
just gotta
number.
Get the right,
And-
sir. You know I've learned this from you.
Oh,
All
yeah.
practice.
and document the whole thing. And I want to piggyback with the documentation photographer earlier. So like you were saying, the 30 to 40 on stage. Same thing, but kind of different in the metal hardcore rock scene. When you go to a hardcore metal show and stuff like that, in this like screamo, we talked about it earlier. Most of the crowd are other musicians. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily fans.
They're not going to be paying for your merch or.
They're there as they're paying for a ticket because they want to see bands they respect or whatever the case would be, but they're not fans. If you had photographers at all these shows, so let other people, because if you go to Warped Tour, if you go to these other big events, the whole room is packed. Everyone's there. Where are these metal fans on not a Tuesday, if you will, but where are these metal fans on a local show on a Thursday, Friday night? They're nowhere to be found because they don't know what's happening because you don't have the documentation. You have a bunch of musicians in the room, not fans, and that's a really big issue in that scene. Every scene has its woes, but like that's
It's no different than hip hop. I mean,
exactly, it's the same thing, but like it's all about the documentation and realizing that the 40 people on stage have a bigger purpose than bringing them on and just having all your homies party and make yourself look cool.
it looks dumb.
It
It
do-
doesn't even look cool anymore.
They,
Like, it
I
looks
don't know
dumb.
where the coolness ever came from with it. Really, to me, it just looks forced.
Yeah.
It looks like that you one hype man with you, the partner, maybe another guy up there to do some vocals is one thing. But when they bring squads up there on a small stage, I've seen like the room Thompson House, the upstairs, like that room. I've seen like 25 people on that little stage, and I'm like, man, like you said, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here, guys? Like,
Sir,
I mean-
Wu-Tang is not performing tonight, so we do not have all 25 members on
right,
stage.
so many. I'm like, what's happening? Like, I'm just taking photos, and I'm like, I don't no skin in this game. I'm just here, but I'm like, I don't know about this, bro. Like, it's
Here's,
not-
I guess, a question I've got for you. Do you think it's ever possible for like hip hop and metal, the scenes to kind of mix, or
I
any
do.
type of? Because I've noticed I've been trying to get into the rock scene a little bit and try to. My whole goal with this is to just music, regardless of genre. You know, that you're coming to our show. It's going to be good musicians, regardless of hip hop,
Yeah.
country, whatever.
quality's gonna be up.
So,
Yeah.
I've noticed with like rock bands, it's a little harder to like talk to them. It seems, or like punk or whatever, like they're very DIY and want to do it. Because I saw this band at the Comment and I was blown away. And I was like, I reached out to them afterwards and crickets. And I'm like, bro, I can put you on a bigger stage in front of more people, but you guys are kind of content with doing these little places with no stages or.
That is
Name the band. Say it out loud, bro. Who was it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
No, so
not gonna do
before
that.
you answer this, Drew, I think it's
Yeah.
kind of like most people only know what they know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of folks, and this is, I think, where you, Drew, Jay, folks like you can really help people that are trying, right? That are wanting to make it, so to speak. Because, again, they only know so far. So I do see this a lot, but, you know, the reason why I wear the plug is because I just try to plug into people, and then I try to connect the dots. And I think a lot of times for me, what's helped me in whatever I've done within Cincinnati music scene is because I've always tried to, number one, be genuine, but number two, I've never come into a situation where I'm like, what I want to get out of it is the first thing. Is like, I will ask a question of like, hey, what are you trying to do? If I can help, cool, but maybe I can at least give you some direction so you can take a step above.
Yeah.
Do you see that more often?
I do. Like that's kind of an approach I've been taking lately with seeing people, just because like people that I've thrown hella shows with, or maybe they've moved, or we've done all we could for them. I start telling them if there's anything I can do, regardless of how small it is, how big, you need help talking to someone, or you need me to go run, help you with merch or whatever. Like, I'm here. You know, that's how I wish more people. Like, it's not really. I just want to help people. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, as long as I'm not coming out of pocket like crazy, or it's not conflicting with anything else, like I'm there for it. Like
That's what separates
Same.
you from everybody else, bro. Because there's so many people that don't want to share that recipe to Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's that's what we do here. When kids come in and they're like, "I want to start a clothing line," it's like we give them the recipe, bro. We tell them how to cut 10 years off of trial and error, and how to get down to brass tacks, and how to start making money right away. Like those are things that people guard for some stupid reason, right? Like for us, like I'm totally cool with other brands like Tyrell and Andrew wearing other brands in here, because I can expect them to wear native 7 days a week, bro. It's like, there's a lot of skin on the table, and I can't expect everybody just to be like full native, right?
Right.
And it's just like the people that think that way, like they're already closed-minded, and they don't understand like the capacity that's out there if they're willing to accept half of your likeliness, right? Like, instead of saying, hey bro, like I need you to be tenfold native, like be 50% native, be 25% native, and I'm here for it, right? Like, you know, there's just people that don't want to give out that recipe because they're afraid that that someone else is gonna get better than they are. And for us, it's like, bro, like if another like Campaign is close on the trail, bro. Campaign is another clothing line that they're doing really good shit. And it's like I like any question that this dude has, like I will give him my wholehearted opinion and you know, and my advice on it. And I hope that he takes it. If he does take it, if he gets better, then guess what? I got to get better at what I do because, you know, I'm willing to give the recipes out because I know what we have here is we're brewing something bigger than just a pot of soup, bro.
That's right.
True.
And
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
it's like you don't want to be that insecure boyfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
100%,
your idea is
bro.
that hot girlfriend, and you're like, no, like I got to keep my eye on you. You can't go out or anything.
Yeah.
Like someone's gonna steal you. It's like once you know you're that man and she's not going anywhere, then like you're more open. Like yeah, wear that other shirt or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta. It's all about you. It's like you got to be confident enough to be like, okay, steal my like we were talking about the other. Steal my idea. I'm gonna do it better. I'm
Right.
gonna be
100%,
onto
bro.
something new. So.
Yep.
And I will say though, I do wear native most every day because that's what's it's what we
Appreciate
it's
you.
what it takes, man.
This is
Like we're
dope shit.
While
man.
he's
Yeah, and
rocking
it-
Nike
and it-
sneakers, I'm just waiting on Jay to do something with some native sneakers.
I'm,
Say something.
hey,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
here
wear some.
for it, bro.
I'll wear
I
some.
like don't you know? I've definitely Googled it, and I'm
Sir,
definitely
what
in
we
talks
could
with a
do
couple
is
Yeah.
talk to
companies.
Alexander John, and then we could just make a native
he's a
sneaker.
G, man. He's good.
Make
You
it
know what I'm
happen.
saying? Shout out to Alexander John.
Bro,
For
yeah,
sure.
that was a huge connect. I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
he's
bro.
awesome.
Yes,
he
sir.
ended up calling me that day. We ended up talking for like an hour on the phone, bro.
I know, and also, yeah, funny thing is that what I think would be really cool is hosting him for a weekend because I know that he had conversations with JSal, right? Obviously, having the exchange or JSal brand not too far. And I think collaboration is really cool. So this actually leads me into a question, right? And I know, Drew, you wanted to go, but I have a question for you, Gravel.
Okay.
What does the rest of your 2023 look like successfully? Like, what do you, in your go-to, like how you want it to be 1,000% the way you want it to go? What does your 2023 look like?
Like I was talking about earlier, I've got that 4-show residency at Madison Live.
Hey.
It's like I'm viewing it as a whole project. So
And Madison Live's incredible too, bro.
Yeah,
The way they redid it.
quick shout out to them. Like they reached out to me about a year or so ago and saw me as kind of like someone doing stuff and knew what they were doing and actually gave me the chance to do that. And I can't tell you how many places I reach out to and just got no return or anything. So big shout out to Frank and everyone there. Like
Shout out
they
to Frank
basically
for sure.
they trust me at this point to kind of do whatever. So like a
Same,
big
yeah,
shout out to
sounds-
them.
That's what's up.
So like yeah, I want to take those 4 shows and literally I'm starting off with a bang, but I just want to use those as a way to gain hype just in the whole scene. Like for me personally, for those artists and for just to bring the city alive again, feel it breathing. And then by the end of that, I'm hoping I have enough momentum to go on to other things. Like I want to start bringing I got off to a little late start this year, but I want to start bringing in national acts. And that's when you can put a Too Rich underneath them or a Kyrie or a Devin Burgess, and that's when we'll see results. Because people here are such hype beasts. It's like you bring, I don't know, for example, ASAP Rocky here. You have Too Rich open for him. Oh my God, Too Rich, you're the fucking man now. Like ASAP Rocky, like what was he like? Was he as cool as on the internet?
Right,
These
for
people
sure.
here are just like such goofballs, but it goes back to like
True.
that's all they know.
That's all they know.
is what they see.
That's all they know.
So I guess can't get mad at them, but we just have to keep building upon the scene, opening up, making it more appealing to I guess casual people, and hopefully we can
That's the key.
You know what
Casual,
I'd like to
casual
see?
people, the
I would like
patrons.
to see a huge collab of like all the really proponent folks that help the behind the scenes, right? So like Donuts and Alcohol, Kick Lee, right? Cincinnati Music Accelerator, like that's the thing that I think once like you guys connect in a way to where it's like, all right, cool, we can do some really, really dope
Yeah.
shit. because I know you guys are very good at curating, like anything. And like you were saying, just to do it from a musical aspect, you know, I know that CMA has, like, if you're not familiar with Cincinnati Music Accelerator, by all means, please go look them up. Please go look into Kick Lee. Look at him. Also, if you are not familiar with Donuts and Alcohol or Graval Baehr, you need to be.
They should be if they've been sitting here.
You
with
know
us
I'm
for-
fucking saying
Yeah, 2 hours
Let
into
them
the
know what time
podcast.
it is.
I hope they are.
But
They'll
by all
figure it out.
means, I really do say this because I think, like, gentlemen like yourself don't get enough flowers, right? In that instance, and it's like, well, X, Y, or Z, for whatever reason, who knows? But what I mean is that it would be great to really see you guys get the keys to the city type deal to where it's like they trust you on anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's to a point, like, I would probably say, Blink, you should definitely link up with my man Gravel over here. You dig what I'm saying? Also, Kickley too. Listen, if you just do them, if you just talk to them too, okay? Just talk to them too. See what happens at the main stage because you should be a festival by now.
Yep. I agree 100%. I'm all down to collab. Even if you guys want to do an event sometime, we can
Yes,
really collab.
please.
I'm a part of that series. We're doing some with If We Die, We Die. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them yet, but they've got like a dope ass new studio in Longworth Hall. It's really nice. But young guys, all like 22, got all their shit together. Like, great.
Longworth Hall's dope.
Yeah.
So I'm all for building this next generation up while working with the people we got here that are already kind of doing it, and let's just keep it going, man. Like, the whole thing with like working with the younger people is like that's the next generation coming up. So we got to even be looking under that.
Yeah,
that
sure.
way, like you said earlier, we're cutting 10 years off of what people are doing. Like,
For
It's
sure.
all about evolution. We went through all the bullshit, so we can make it easier for the next.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And that's something. If you see yourself being able to put your foot in the door here, bro, like, you know, we're all a fan of you. So if there's anything that you want, any content that you want to get done, anything like that, like, we'd love to have you here to be a part of it, because we do have, like, on a Monday to Sunday basis, we probably have about 10 to 15 young kids that come in that are up and coming artists, and they want a spotlight on the podcast. It happens all the time here, and we just tell them, hey, DM us on Instagram, tag us on something that you want us to see, and then we can try to fill
Go
in the
from there, yeah.
podcast spots. Yeah, because they all want to be on the podcast.
Well, and that's a way I learned to weed out the people that are serious or not.
100%, bro.
You cannot. I'm sure. Well, I guess you know, but like, it was unbelievable how many people would ask for an interview. But then you're like, well, hey, can you email me, you know, a short bio about yourself, a couple of your links, whatever. Never hear from them.
Never.
Never.
And then they
listen,
bitch like,
Never.
Hey, on the Shogun wants to jump on Donuts and Alcohol. We can have some fun, bro.
Hey.
We'll play some games. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be fun, bro.
I'm so down for like collaboration, but I'm always like, listen, I didn't get my start in podcasting. I reached out to Jay, and this is when Native was in the Dayton store. So, like, short story, my background was like, mine is sports, right? But I did a lot of like underground, behind the scenes. Like, I didn't go to school for it, but I was just in the scene of music. Like, I did my apprenticeship under Roger Sands when he was at Red Cheetah. Rest in peace to Roger Sands. Shout out to him.
Rest in peace, buddy. I love that guy, man.
Dude, so
Shamalama
like,
ding dong.
that's my
Let's
man.
go.
So like from that standpoint, it was just like I just wanted to try and help as much as I could. Did I think I was going to be like a world-class DJ? No, because my interest, like, I'm ADHD as shit. So, like, my interests move all over the place, but in the same sense, it's like my passion doesn't. So it could be one place at
Just
one
pivoting,
point in time.
yeah.
You know
Just
what I
being
mean?
able to pivot.
Yeah, of course. And I think that, like, the best thing that I learned is a quote by Henry Ford. I don't have to be the smartest man in the room. I just have to hire that person, right? So
Yeah.
if I know that somebody is way better in any sense musically then I'm just going to pull them into the right spot. But again, I just have to be in the right room to have the conversation. So
You're like you're putting your ego aside. That's what
Absolutely.
I think every person needs to learn if they haven't already. It's none of this is about any one of us in particular. Me starting Donuts and Alcohol is not about me whatsoever. Like, yeah, I was the face of it or whatever, but it's not about me. It's
You're
about
highlighting everybody else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about building the city, building the scene. You know, I mean, I can honestly say without tooting my own horn is I feel like when we came into the scene, maybe you can attest to this. When we came to the scene, there wasn't really anything like us, and the scene was kind of all over the place. It was kind of the remnants of the Lantanas and that kind of generation. And from when we started until now, like, there is so much growth, so much togetherness, so many more new stars just on like a, maybe not people that have gotten as big as the Lantanas or whatever, but I think the quality is a lot better. And
the
there's
quality
a lot,
is
yeah.
sound for
Yeah.
sure. The quality is sound. I think that there are a multitude of artists across different genres, right? And it's not just hip hop.
It's not trap or street shit.
It's so many things. But a lot of times, I think people are just so stuck in like, I only know what I know. But having people like you to just say, hey, let me introduce you to something that's different. I was having a conversation earlier, pre-pod, right? And I was talking like, yo, I love hearing conversations. Oh, shit, I've got to ask you this too. But I love hearing conversations where people introduce me to new music. So on the podcast, my podcast, Susio Boys Podcast on CDB Network, yeah, shameless plug. You already know what time it is. We asked this question because Double XL posted this. So Double XL posted, what is a perfect album? Now, I need two answers from you. Number one, to you, what makes a perfect album? And then number two, what to you, can you name 5 of your, what you consider perfect albums, no skips, all that?
Start with that last part first.
Five is tough, bro. Five is tough to
I'll do my best. Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park. One of the best albums.
Those Linkin
of
Park
all
shout
time.
out?
I mean, front to back.
Yeah, man.
The Doors it tore down. I still listen to that fucking religiously. Graduation by Kanye. That really just that took my creativity to the next level.
It took a lot of people's creativity to the next level with that one.
Just trying to think of what I've listened to lately. Here's a wild card, Asia by Steely Dan.
Ooh.
It's a classic one. White Pony by the Deftones. Love that album.
Yeah, nice. Dope.
Got one more.
I wouldn't have guessed
Let's
that.
Go. It's got to be Jay-Z, but which one?
Right?
Either Reasonable Doubt or
Blueprint, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the two.
All right.
Solid answer, Joe.
I got a question, man.
Yes.
Just fill in the blank.
Okay.
Heat in
6.
all right.
It's the first thing
Heat
that came to
in
my mind.
6.
Heat in 6.
Heard, bro. Heard.
Heat in 6, baby.
Yes,
So
sir.
that
We ain't even
that's
been doing
it.
this with Tyler Hero, man.
Jimmy,
He been
yeah,
out,
he'll-
man.
I think he's coming back for Game 3.
in Miami.
In Miami, so if they can steal one in Denver, that would be solid. But if they're 0-2 out of Denver, no worries, because once Tyler Hero's back, I think that's that dynamic. Denver hasn't had. I mean, they haven't faced Jimmy Butler, so they've faced a bunch of talent. But Jimmy Butler right now, he is like on another level. I mean, it is what it is. And if you get Hero back, man, I mean,
Caleb Martin's playing the way he
Yeah.
is, and like 7 undrafted guys on our team.
It's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
It's crazy.
They all-
insane. Yeah.
And that's why it's cool to stick with a team like that. I love Spoelstra. Actually, my mom was a pretty big Heat fan. I used to be a big Raptors fan with Vince Carter and stuff. He's what got me into basketball. But just like Pat Riley and just I saw a stat today. He's been a part of 24.7% of all NBA finals. Pat Riley.
damn.
What?
As a player, executive, or coach.
That's wild.
That's a quarter.
That's insane.
One out of every 4 years has something to do with them.
Oh wow.
But
Wow. It's amazing.
yeah, man, I'm excited. Oh, another funny story. In my friend group, out of the 4 of us, one's a Lakers fan, one's a Celtics fan, there's a Denver fan, and there's me, the Heat fan.
Oh wow.
So it happened this
Final
year when we
Four,
were on
yeah.
the Final Four, and I think it all
2020.
yeah, in the COVID year.
Yeah.
So like we were all sitting there watching the games together, shit talking, like. And then my friend who's a Boston fan is just Boston sports everything,
Sure. Yeah.
and he's the most annoying about it. Like, he knows
Right.
he is too. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just glad we didn't lose 4 in a row. 'cause
Man,
I
that-
would've fucking,
That'd have
Bad
been
side
tough,
of
bro.
history.
I would have, yeah.
Bad side of history.
I would've never heard the end of it.
Dude, yeah, I'm with you. I know the Nuggets are favored, and I know the Nuggets are definitely the fire. Like they have enough firepower, enough.
They're sick, man.
They're solid, man. Like, we had a conversation off camera earlier with some of the guys, and I just don't see that. I think Miami needs to. Joker's gonna get his, so I think the other players need to.
I think Denver had too much time off, bro.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think
factor,
you might fuck with
man.
them, yeah.
Yeah, but like it's all about Jamal Murray. How does he play? If he doesn't get his 30 a game,
Yeah, I was about to say.
it's
yeah.
all about get his 30 game. Like they're like Joker. Joker's gonna get his, whether it's an assist, a rebound, or a score every single
Yeah.
play.
Nah,
You're
but
not gonna stop him.
That's the thing, though, is that you got to make sure. We've had this conversation.
Stopping him.
This is always fun.
You need a quick answer. Who's stopping him?
You got no. You
No,
have
here
to
it goes
double
again.
down.
They got in an argument before you
Who's stopping him?
showed
This
up
is wild.
earlier.
I just want to
we're
hear
in.
the answer.
I think that you have to double down on Joker because his ability to pass as much as he has.
Yeah,
to
then you just
score,
leave someone open.
and it's like, okay, cool. If I get beat by Murray, it's much different than like
You will
yo,
get beat by
I didn't
Murray.
do anything to stop the Joker.
It's
You will
it's
get beat by-
demoralizing when
You will get beat by
Jokic
Murray.
is the one that's just bodying you down low or whatever, and you literally cannot stop it because you don't have anybody
There's
down there
no one.
big enough. Then that's a little more demoralizing than Murray hitting the threes or whatever, just having a hot
It's a
night.
higher risk. It's a much
Right.
higher
Yeah.
risk. My mind, let Joker get what he's gonna get, and put like Butler as that dude that's gonna be a dude on top of every person. He's like a floater, and keep Murray pressure on Murray, because I'm pulling for Murray. I'm pulling for any UK players. So but Heat have Hero and Bam. So like I've got plenty in the. I'm here for both teams. It doesn't matter. But like I'm here for Murray. But I know
Trying to hear none of that
if you
UK
put
talk, bro.
if you put
I
Murray,
ain't trying to hear none of that.
hey, they're there, bro.
I ain't trying to hear none of
I've
that.
They're
had
there.
I've had to appreciate them now because of Hero.
They're
Yo,
there.
My man
Right.
had the
They're there.
audacity to say that Jokic was better than Tim Duncan. Yeah, I'm gonna let him know that.
That's cool. I
I'ma
would
let him
take
know that.
Joker right now over Tim
You
Duncan's
got me
top.
fucked up.
100%.
That's a tough.
If you say Joker after 10 more years, I bet
no,
you.
see, no, that's a
That's
different
it.
argument. That's a different argument. And
No,
that's
that's
what I
it.
was saying. Is that
Period.
It's very difficult.
Duncan had more help.
No,
than
no,
Joker's
no,
had.
Sir,
Yes.
sir.
100%.
Duncan was the reason that all of them became
He wasn't the
Hall
reason.
of Famers.
I won't.
Pop.
I don't.
Yeah,
believe.
but
He's a
Pop
sinner.
also
I would
had
say
a-
Pop is the biggest reason, but
Pop was the biggest reason, yes.
Let's not-
but Duncan on the court can execute like you are the most talented.
and
player
Joker
on your
executes
basketball
better. He's a better playmaker,
team. It was only
top to bottom.
It was only until
100%.
Kawhi Leonard came to the Spurs where Duncan wasn't the most talented player on that.
Yeah, but that
basketball
was later in it. That was the last.
team.
But like
what I'm saying is
Duncan is that Hall of Famer for a reason. What he does. But if I'm gonna have someone open as many facets, I'm taking Joker and LeBron over most anybody. And Duncan's there to pick up the pieces when the shot's missed.
Big
And like
fundamental.
that's where I'm at with it. So if I'm gonna choose someone number one in my draft between those two at this current time, I'm probably taking Joker. Because on his upside, like this is just the beginning. He's still young. That's the crazy part. He was just on the bench. Like the last time they were there, he was like not even. He was coming off the bench, and so was Murray. And guess what? He just got 2 MVPs. He could have got a third. The only reason he didn't get a third is because people have this thing against giving someone too many MVPs in a row. So he didn't get a third, and they gave it to Embiid. If LeBron should have had 10, but like that's the thing is like people have that. So if Joker could get 3, but people didn't give it to him because they didn't want to spoil him, how is there the argument? It just
But if
falls
I
flat.
would take championships at this current time and point and place.
But yeah, you're talking about the past compared to the
No,
future, and we can't see it in the head.
no.
He could get
Joker-
injured, man, and then he
Hold on,
can't be
fam.
it. I'm talking. Bro, you wanna call it? I'm gonna give you the answers, and we're on
Nah,
camera
I'm
now,
taking
so
championships
let's see your
over
face on it, my
MVPs.
dude.
I'm taking championships
You got
over
more?
MVPs. You know this.
Well, the championships is a team sport. MVP is what you perform on a
Sir,
daily.
listen.
Yeah.
The Bulls without
He
Michael
didn't-
Jordan, couldn't win. They
Jordan
made it to
didn't
the
win it
playoffs with
without-
Scottie Pippen.
He didn't win without
He's a
Scottie
horrible
Pippen.
player.
He got rolled by the Pistons until Scottie came. So like that argument again.
I mean, you're right, bro.
I am,
but
I
Scottie
know.
Pippen couldn't do it.
I'm just saying, if I'm choosing one right now, I'm going to take the Joker currently. I love Tim Duncan. I'm a huge fan of everything he did. And really in the first center anyways, I would take Shaq over all of them. But, like, that's not a conversation.
Oh, yeah, no,
but, like, the thing
nobody's
is
not
that,
picking Shaq.
yeah, like, no one's stopping Shaq. If I'm going to ask for 2 points, I give it to Shaq.
But
Give me 2.
Nobody's ripped the goal down.
I know.
No one's ever ripped the goal down except for Shaq.
Shaq's
The entire fucking thing,
Yes.
not just breaking the glass, but he brought the whole fucking contraption down. That's crazy.
It's insane. And I would choose him number 1. But if between those two, I'm currently at the Joker spot. But I'm going to get a lot of hate for it. But let's see Tim Duncan make like Joker. He doesn't play defense like Tim Duncan, but yeah, that is what it
Joker
is.
have the fundamentals.
Bro,
down.
can I?
Because he lives in the fundamentals. They were trained.
Can I say something about this Game 7 that just happened 2 days ago?
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, the I told you earlier about the Celtics. They just kept shooting threes. Like they were
Live and
down.
die by it, yeah.
They were down by 15, right? Down by 14, 15. So they kept shooting threes, and then Miami would come up and they would make 2, right? But the problem was, man, like Game 6, the defense with the Celtics was insane, bro. The defense was phenomenal. And then the defense on Game 7 looked so tired, bro. Like they weren't even trying to defend anything. And then when they brought all the people off the bench, that's when the pressure came, bro.
Well,
like
they were gassed out, bro.
the last 2 minutes of the game, like that.
It's coaching.
That
Yeah.
well,
On the Heat side.
Yeah.
bro. But like
saying.
it kills me to see that all these guys that were sitting on the bench the first 3 quarters, they come out in the last 2 minutes of the game, and now they're creating pressure.
Well,
It's like, why weren't you creating pressure the last 11 minutes of the game and get the game back, bro? Like Reggie Miller scored 12 points in 4 seconds. Like
Well,
it's not hard to get out of a 10 point deficit. You know what I mean?
That's
So-
happened like once though, and
Yeah.
I mean that was
years,
definitely a
yeah.
rarity. The 12 points
and you're
in 4
dropping
seconds.
him, and he doesn't have a rating.
no, but you got to think too is that like
Just
your
saying.
your coach also is looking at both sides of play, right? Because defensively, you can bust your ass for 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, but without the defense, the
Right?
Heat wouldn't be here.
But if
They
if
have
you're
they have to defend. Otherwise, they can't put up as many points as Celtics, even maybe the Lakers or the Nuggets. They just
Yeah.
can't put as many points up on the board because now that Tyler Hero's coming back. I mean, Victor Oladipo's still out.
Yeah.
So like you're missing. You're still your number 2. Really, he could be a number
It's
2.
more the Heat or more. It's all mental.
It's
for them.
scrappy,
It's
man.
like
It's
it's
scrappy.
like we're gonna win this game,
Yeah.
regardless. We're gonna be coached well. My friend pointed this out to me during the Celtics series. You saw their coach. Can't think of his name right now. Young dude, but he wasn't calling timeouts at the end of the game. But you see Spoelstra when they're up 15, he's calling a timeout when it's down to 12. He's like,
Yeah.
"All right, guys, come, we're
Yeah.
slacking a little bit. We're letting them get back. Let's get back on." That way, you maintain that lead, and it never gets down to that.
Yeah.
You know what's
weird.
crazy though is that a lot of people don't know that Spoelstra's dad actually played in the NBA.
Oh, wow.
Not only that Spoelstra's dad also, I think, was very good at marketing, and his dad was actually traded as a player to go on to work in the front office.
Oh, damn.
So that's the reason
Yeah,
why Spoelstra
inside
was
it-
very intelligent.
He's great.
Yeah.
And
He's
that's
great.
it-
He
like
literally,
that-
he's playing chess out there, and Mazzulla's playing checkers.
Him and
A
Pat
weak
Riley.
game of checkers. Like he wasn't really doing a lot of adjusting and pivoting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they were trying to let Tatum and Brown's talent oversee. And
As soon as Tatum went down in that
That was
first
it.
play, like
Yeah.
that was the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
what bothers me about it is the Celtics could have avoided all of these problems earlier in the season if you start to recognize Brown's talent, because that's the problem. They don't know who's going to take the last shot. Now they expect it to be Tatum because he's worth more. His supermax is going to be like what, 20 more million than Brown's, but like, dude, Brown is a number 1, dude. He can be. He's a
that's
number 2.
Also
And it's
your issue with Celtics, right?
the problem
Is
because no one knows
it's
going
like-
to take it. So when Tatum goes down, everyone's expecting it. If they did it off and on, they did an even odd kind of thing. Like, all right, tonight it's yours. But if I find out I'm not doing well, all right, Brown, step in. And if I'm not doing well, Tatum, you step in. Like if they would have done that the whole time, but this power struggle because the coaching there is a 1 year. He's a rookie coach. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So Spoelstra is a veteran.
I
So
think he's
he's
your age. I think he's like 34 or 35.
He's young, bro. Yeah,
that's crazy.
he really wasn't that great of a basketball player. I don't know where his whole. They just love
Yeah.
him.
Celtics
They
have
just
had
love
young
him.
coaches for the last few iterations.
Well, I mean,
They
you know,
said last year, I think he wasn't even sitting in the first row as like an assistant coach.
Yeah,
he was
right.
like in the second row.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
just
but it's ownership just loving someone, dude.
Mhm.
It's just it is what it is. There's a lot of politics in that, but like even still, like he didn't pivot at all. They didn't pivot as an
No.
organization. They just were hoping that Tatum would just have a better game than Butler. And when his rolled his ankle, like you said, like that took all the wind out of their sails.
Sure did.
And Butler smelled blood, and the rest of the team were like, all right, man. Like obviously you have these role players and stuff, but like who each night it could be anybody. Really,
That's what
it
I'm saying.
does.
It's
It could be
either
any.
Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin,
Yep.
or Jimmy or Bam or Duncan Robinson. He played like shit all year. I wanted them to trade him so bad because we gave him.
I thought he was going to get
this-
traded. I thought he was going to the
this big
Lakers, bro. I
contract,
thought it was yeah.
44 mil for
Yeah.
3 years or something. I was like, dude. But then
Yeah.
playoffs come around, he's just dropping threes. He's fucking dunking on people and stuff. I'm like,
Bro, I know.
like, bro, where
He's
is
literally
this
like
at?
Austin Reeves
Yeah.
of the Heat, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is like they have these role players coming out of the woodwork, and it's amazing, and that is scary for a Nuggets team
Mhm.
because who's gonna do it? Because we know it's Joker or Murray,
Murray, yeah.
so you just put pressure on Murray and you make him feel nervous, a
Boy,
little bit of
that-
nervous.
That is not the game plan. I'm
Yeah, it is.
I
telling
think
you.
honestly, you take out one of them
Yeah.
and let one of them score 30 or whatever, you're good.
And
But you
who's-
just
Right,
can't
right.
let both of them.
And who's
go up.
likely going to do all that, even if you put resistance up? Joker. But Murray's averaging 32 in the conference finals and 35 prior to that. He's averaged too many points. If you get him,
I can understand
if you get him
that,
under
yeah.
30 and Joker still, even Joker gets 10 more points, you get him under, you get him flustered, dude, Murray's out. That's one player, and that's Butler. So everyone else, we just have to have role players, and they don't have the role players the Heat do. So I think that is the ticket because
All right,
Joker's going to
I'll
get
tell
his.
you what you need to pay attention to. Who across the board
Mhm.
has consistently the best average in assists, right? Because Murray is what? Technically their
Joker.
point guard, right?
Yeah, Joker's
Then
better. assist.
Joker also has
But Jo-
just as many assists.
No, Murray's not an
dude's
assist guy.
averaging a triple-double in the playoffs.
yeah, but he's going to average it no matter if you put pressure on him or not.
But if you cut down his passing lanes and you can take away
He's tall.
him getting other people to score, if he's going to score, cool. But if he's going to help other people score, that's an issue.
You don't need him to score for them to win. You need
like,
Murray to score.
What I'm saying
They
is
do.
that if you
They have
put-
to have Murray to score to
But
win.
if
That's
you
the only
do
way
put the
they're beating the
pressure-
Lakers.
Is
Murray's putting up
Yeah.
30 plus.
right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason they beat the Lakers. So like that's where I'm at with it. But we're about to wrap up. But I did want to answer that question earlier about the hip hop metal thing,
Oh, okay.
and I got one thing to say.
Mhm.
Young Mosh. Have you heard of Young Mosh?
I haven't. So
You should check them out.
Okay.
They used to be called The World I Knew. They're called Young Mosh now. They're a metal band that like hybrids with hip hop and rap.
Mm.
They
Making waves, bro.
we had them on the podcast here.
They're from here?
They are. The vocalist Wes, he's a beast. He can scream with the best of them, and he can rap with anybody.
Flatbush Zombie vibes?
Dude, he crushed. No, they're like they call themselves trap metal. So like it's really really good hybrid. They blend it amazingly well, and they had a whole
Hey, there's Tyrone.
they headlined. There he is. They headlined. They did this thing at Energy nightclub where they were the headliners. They were a band, and then they had a bunch of rappers and artists play throughout the course of the day of their like Blacklight Studios event, and like they killed it, man. I went to the event. They put on a great show, and my band used to play shows with them. Ocean Grid and The World I Knew were always on shows together, and they eventually pivoted to Young Mosh and kind of went the hip hop world, but they're a band. They're not a solo
that
artist.
sounds sick.
So they blend it really well. And I do think there's a crossover for the two genres because a lot of the times when I'm in the studio, when I'm writing a hardcore rock, like a metal song, I do a lot of hip hop influence with the beats with it because I'll scream rap to a beat, and that's how I deliver the music. So like it's all about delivery, and hip hop delivers it. It's my favorite delivery. I'm a huge
right.
Jay-Z fan. I always play 99 Problems when we come in here. Like it's one of my favorite. They're like period. But like I love the fusion of metal and rap, and there's a lot of bands out there. Attila, there's a lot of bands that have done that, and I would say the most popular bands on Warped Tour were always the ones that blended the rap and the rock.
It's like crossover.
Right.
Like,
Red Hot Chili Peppers
Yeah.
originally did rap rock, and so like I think there's a place for it. It's about the people at the top allowing everyone to see it in a mass spectrum, not just the underground scene trying to find their local band.
There's
So-
definitely there's definitely a place for it, because like Gravel was talking earlier, like he was all about rock and that type of music until Jay-Z and
broke down the walls. I mean,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, bro, there's more to this. And that's the thing, is like, you know, when you can cross two genres, and that was incredible, bro. Like first of all, the fact that Jay-Z, like he's at the top of the food chain in the music industry when it comes to hip hop. You don't see somebody like that going, okay, let me rap over rock music, right?
Yeah.
But it was the perfect juxtaposition, bro.
Yeah,
There it is.
Perfect juxtaposition.
There it is. Had to fit that in.
Yeah, it was. That's my favorite word.
We're
in the
gonna do a
English dictionary.
timestamp one day eventually. What'd you say?
That's my favorite word in the English dictionary.
Yeah, that's so true.
Juxtaposition, bro.
We're gonna have to like a timestamp where like where in all the videos of the podcast is Jay saying juxtaposition, and they're in one in every episode. I mean, I've been keeping
you
track.
should get a reel together. And,
Dude,
cut out the
yeah,
little
I can't wait.
juxtaposition.
I'm gonna find an editor that's willing to sit
Sift
down
through
and
all that shit.
yeah, I'm going
Hey, this
to.
is 168 episodes in, bro.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay,
But I also want to say too. So I'm gonna have an event a week before your 30th party. I'm doing my
21st?
birthday. Yeah, at Madison Live on the 21st. So I'm gonna do as well. It's mixed genre as well. I do a hip hop show. Last year I did a hip hop show on the roof. Before that was a pop show. So then
dope.
halfway through it, about 10 o'clock when usually hip hop shows start, I transitioned to a DJ and then went hip hop. So it's
dope.
and downstairs is a metal show. So like metal rock depends. So like it kind of this year I'm gonna put some comedy in there and stuff. So feel like we're gonna do like a grill out, I think, this year. So like it's gonna be a good time. So a week before, hopefully the next week I'll be able to come to yours and make it happen. So we'll be doing a whole podcast on that. So like pretty exciting, cool events that are coming up this year at Madison Live. I'm in my 10th year. I was an intern in 2013, and we're still here doing some stuff. And I feel like we're just getting started. Still, I say it all the time, but I really feel like the best is yet to come. So
and the times now is why
it is, man.
People, like, I mean, you've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a little while. It's go time.
Go time. Yeah.
I figure, I could do this for the rest of my life or whatever, but like I feel like now is definitely the time to move. And if we don't capitalize now, then you might not get these opportunities again. It might be another 5-10 years before it happens. But
100%.
Yeah.
And you're the great commandant in the middle of this, man. That you're able, you've been doing this for the past 5, 6, 7 years, right? So, now that these 15-year-old kids, they were 8 when you started doing this, right? So now these 15-year-old kids, they're trying to figure out how to break into the scene, and they got people like you that wants to put the younger guys on the pedestal and want, as long as their stuff is good, as long as they've got the mental capacity and their heads in the right space,
vision,
right? You're willing to put them on the pedestal and help push them off to alleviate those 10 years of trial and error, bro.
Exactly.
And the city needs more of us, and the community needs more of that, right? Because it like I said, bro, you could be a gatekeeper where you could sit there and say no, you know what I mean, like figure it out yourself, but at the same time, like you're going to be able to elevate so many people that it's only going to elevate the stuff that you're doing at the same time, man.
It's like, do you remember when you were really trying to get something and someone was like, "Nah, you're not ready yet"? Or
Oh, I
whatever?
definitely
Like,
remember.
Yeah, so like I'm not trying to be that guy to this next generation. Like as long as they're willing to listen, I'm willing to spend time and help them out.
The funny thing is, the whole reason I talk about the recipe to Coca-Cola is because there was a clothing designer that I looked up to when I first started doing the clothing line, and I was trying to pick his brain, and he literally goes, "Are you trying to steal the recipe to Coca-Cola from me?" And so since then, I still remember that exact conversation, and now I use that recipe to Coca-Cola in every conversation. So you're right, bro. Like something as simple as that clothing line that shut me down instead of helping me out. Like, by the way, that clothing line is not around anymore.
And that dude probably has no idea you felt that way, or that was just another conversation with another random person. But
Right.
like,
Bro.
look how it affected
Yeah.
you.
Right.
It's
right.
the same for me.
It just
They-
gave more fuel to the fire, bro. So like once he said that, I was like, I do want the recipe to Coca-Cola, and I'm gonna fucking find it, bro.
Yeah.
Like whether you help me out or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just like mine. Like I used to play bass, and they're, dude, just play bass. We don't need your ideas, your marketing, whatever you're doing. So stop. Just
Stay
play
in your
bass,
lane.
man.
You're just
Stay
Shut up
play
and
bass.
dribble.
I was like, I helped build this band. No, dude, play bass. Let's us take care of this. It's just metal, dude. Like your market, like we're hip hop. What do you? Streetwear, we're done with that, dude. We want those fucking metal letters, bro. And I was like, all right, guys, like I guess I'm gonna drown on this ship with y'all until I can get to the next step, because I wanted to play shows. So I had you either drop the band and have to start fresh, or you establish play in front of the 100 people a night. What's your option? So I was like, I'll play bass and I'll just think of ideas when the time has come. And then eventually I
You exit
moved on.
out, yep.
But just play bass, the same thing. You want the recipe to Coca-Cola? No, man, you're not getting it. Just play bass. It's the same. It's like these people try to hold other humans back for no reason. It's just because it's ego or whatever. We've talked about that.
So you got to eat the shit and then
Yep.
just kind of plan an exit plan and just kind of put your head down and get through it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where a lot of people don't make it. 'Cause
Stop.
It's instant gratification of
Yep.
I'm doing everything right, or I think I'm doing everything right. Why am I not famous yet? Well, it doesn't work.
Because you're
that
not
way,
doing it right, right,
Yeah.
I know.
right.
Yeah.
You're not wanting it enough. 'Cause
Mhm.
if you're discouraged by something like just not getting your way, then
I think
it's a long road.
I think it falls back to what we said a couple hours ago, man. It's strength in numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you got one artist that's trying to break through in the city, and then once they finally break through, they're like, fuck Cincinnati, fuck, all the other artists in the city. That doesn't do anything for him, and it doesn't do anything for
Makes
the
you look
artists
like a
here.
jackass, like
And
Yeah.
people see it, you know what I mean, and it ends up bleeding through on his skin later on, right? Because it's like, oh shit, why am I in this position? It's because you burnt every bridge around you, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's what
and
happens.
it all comes
Yeah.
it all comes back. Like I've even got people hitting me up now that were giving me a lot of shit when I first started this, or even 2 years ago. They're hitting me up now because they want, hey, you want to do an event at our space, or you want to collab on something. And that's just something I've always took like. I'm not gonna take it to heart because you guys are basically projecting what you think. You don't know me personally. You don't
Right.
know my goals or what I'm trying to do here. So like, I just advice for anyone: just don't take that shit to heart because they don't really understand what's going on. And I mean, you can work with them later.
For sure.
Whatever. If you
It'll come back
Mhm.
tenfold, bro.
It
Yeah.
will.
So we're gonna wrap this up, but all of your social media is Graval Baehr.
GravalBaehr.
Yeah, and growing up, did people try to like break you down because of your name, or?
Yeah, I guess to the point now I don't care. It's,
For
everything
sure.
of,
But it makes you so unique,
Oh,
bro.
yeah,
like,
I'm literally one of one. I don't think there's another person here named Graval Baehr. So
right, and that's the thing. It's like it's almost it plays to your favor because you don't have to do Gravel Baehr 125,
Exactly.
right? Like, for me, there's so many Jay Bankses out there, bro. That like whenever a new app comes out, it's like I got to jump in and grab Jay Banks right away before somebody else does. You know what I mean?
it was a double-edged sword for sure. Just like even introducing myself, still, it's just like, what's your name? Gravel. Say it again. Gravel. Travis? Like they won't even get anything close. Gabriel? Like no, bro.
That's
Like,
funny.
It's gravel. Yeah, like the
Check out
Roz,
my
but-
gravel
yeah,
pit.
Exactly.
Like, there you go. There's a
It's just-
Wu-Tang.
That's-
There's a Wu-Tang plug for you. To end it.
Hey,
Bum, bum,
It all
bum,
made it full
bum.
circle.
that's hilarious.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
All right, man.
Wu-Tang
So how do we do, bro? So you go and you interview everybody all the time. Was this a fun time for you?
It was shit. I had a horrible time.
All right. Then,
I'm
then you just
kidding.
suck yourself into next week because we're gonna redo this podcast all over again.
The 3-hour tour.
I'm kidding, guys. I really appreciate all the kind words you guys have said. You guys have been here forever. I feel like we've kind of grown up in the city together. Saw Jay when he first opened up that Dayton location. I was one of the first. How many people in there to buy something?
Bro,
Like
you were
20, 25 or
yeah,
something?
you were definitely within the first handful of
yeah,
people.
so
bro.
like I've definitely seen everything, come up, and yeah, congratulations to you, to everyone. You've built the team. There's nothing really else like this going on here in the city. So,
Right. Bro,
yeah.
we'd love to have you be a part of the team, man. If you can
Yeah.
find if there's a table there and there's food for everybody. If you can find your spot to sit down and have a meal, bro, like we'd love to have you here, man.
I'm down to come up with whatever idea. Like like yourself, I'm an idea man, and it just drives me crazy. Like I've got to smoke so much weed sometimes just to like shut up the ideas. Like we got to chill. Like we can't move on.
That's my
this
problem.
right
When I
now.
smoke, it all starts going in. It's like I need to do more. I need to
Yeah,
do
like-
more. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
bro.
yes,
So
yeah.
like I said, man, anything we can do to help you out, bro. I've been a fan of yours for years. I love seeing what you're doing, and I really hope that you'll take this into heart, because we would love to have you here on anything, bro. Or if anything Donuts and Alcohol is doing, if you want to put something here, or if you want to, anything we can do to help you out, bro.
Yeah,
we're
man, as
we're
far
here
as
for
I'm
it.
concerned, is right now I'm a free agent, so not talking about money or anything, but as far as like where I can go and who I can work with or whatever, so I'm down, dude. Like as long
That's
as
awesome,
as long
bro.
as it makes sense and I got time for
Yeah,
it,
man.
we can talk about sports. We can talk about
That was something
whatever,
else.
like,
I was
yeah.
gonna suck you into getting on on AI's sports podcast,
yeah,
bro.
let me know, man. Like
Yeah.
I'll
Especially
Sports is
during
easy
during the playoffs.
Where,
right now.
where,
He-
yeah.
have me back, man. I'll talk Heat.
Let's
man.
do it. Yeah. I mean, first
Get a-
game's on Thursday, so
Get
we'll.
a Nuggets fan in here and we can just go at it.
Yeah, that'd be
3
dude.
hours.
Let's do
Dude, let's get Damar in for one of these episodes. He played for the Denver
I
Nuggets.
know.
That's okay. We're,
Then I
we're,
don't have much
we-
to say
that's-
to him.
we need to we need to link that up, bro. Like within the next 7 games, so that gives us 2 weeks. So it's either tomorrow, next Wednesday. So I'll reach out to Damar and see if we can get him on
That
next
would be
week's
great.
podcast, bro.
Yeah, let's do. That's right before I leave for. Out of
Because I
town.
mean that'd be
Let's go.
perfect, bro. Because he played for the Denver Nuggets, and
Yeah, 100%.
that'd be a
Let's
great
make it happen.
podcast.
That'd be so much fun. I think we should also maybe work on a show together, man. Maybe we can do some.
just,
Yeah, bro.
Big Shama
He,
stuff.
he books everything down there at Madison Live if Frank isn't doing it. So
Yeah.
he can link you up. And
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you've already got your
Yeah,
your
you're
foot
in there
door, but
for sure. It's kind of it can be hard to get in there. Actually, it's pretty closed until you show that you're willing to. They're kind of taking. They've taken some risk with some people that come through that have put on some.
shit show.
Yeah, man, and then like I was an intern for Frank back in 2013, and Madison Live hadn't even opened yet. It was there, but we did everything at Backstage Cafe, which was on the other side of Madison Theater. Now it's another spot, a little dinner spot. But
is it owned by
Taj.
Madison?
No, well no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
That building, I thought that was owned by Miss Esther too, but I guess I don't know if she sold or whatever. But Miss Esther, I don't know if you've met her, but she owns Madison Theater. and
Probably sold that piece
She might
to
have.
fix up live.
maybe, but yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just. But she's great, honestly. Like, but I've been being around that scene for such a long time. Like I'm like family in there. I go to as many shows as I can. I take my daughter there. Like we have a good time. But yeah, we could put on some like something like collide the two worlds together, bring scenes that never have met, and
Have him
some
host the
fashion into
podcast.
it.
Or,
Dude.
I mean, have him host the shows.
Dude,
Or
we could
let's
do a
even
podcast
a
there.
Podcast show.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Podcast.
podcast there, literally.
Let's just get busy. Local podcast. Let's
Yeah.
fucking throw it down.
Podcast before the doors even open.
Yeah.
Just get people to try to come down.
I would say the first hour to hour and a half, we have a podcast about it and stuff, and then we introduce the bands, whatever they perform, maybe, and then in between we do another podcast, like because we could do short spurts and just talk about things. Like there's just so many things we could do.
It's just, literally like just a creative playground. I mean,
Yeah, then and as long as the people come and the event's hot, like we'll get more and more opportunities. It's just there's just so many opportunities that are there. It's just about knowing what to do. So.
Yep.
But
I'm
it's
down with
really-
talking.
I would say it's really not hard, right? It's really not hard when you're like genuinely trying to assist people. So that's
No,
where,
it's-
again, from somebody that's not from Cincinnati but adopted into Cincinnati, like culture musically and all things creative, like you'll get what you need because you are genuinely trying to look out. And
Right.
I've seen
Yeah.
it like as
True.
a fan of Gravel, Donuts and Alcohol, as you guys as well. So I think it's there, and it's like whatever you come up with, you just really have to put in whatever action hours you have to, and then it'll all work itself out.
You'll get what you put in.
I'm not seeing
Exactly.
Cincinnati
Yeah.
never
You get
show
what you
up
give.
for
You'll get what you give.
something that somebody put a lot of effort into. You know what I'm saying?
But I've
For
also
sure.
seen it flop when you put all your time and effort into something and you forget the photographer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But-
So like it's really how much you as a creator. And on top of that, like, Cincinnati's clicky, so you have to find the clicks that have people that are willing to back them and get in with those people that are willing to actually put themselves out there and take the risk, because a lot of people aren't willing to risk. They just want you to risk for them, and that's something I've learned.
Bro,
But,
less clicks, more likes. What do you think?
that's smart.
Oh wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
Wow.
Ah, okay, Chingawe.
Let's
Hey.
go.
Clicks, come on now.
And on that note, I think that's
Yes,
another
sir.
episode of the PowWow.
Exactly.
All right, man.
right.
I
Appreciate
appreciate
you
you
guys.
for
Yes, sir.
coming through. Gravel, I'm a huge fan, bro, and
Likewise.
I'm so thankful that you were able to come down and be a part of it, bro.
Hey,
So,
hey.
like I said, anytime you want to be a part of this, if you want to start your own podcast in here with anything you want to do, bro, this store is yours. I'll give you a key.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
wow.
So, my man,
Dude,
appreciate
thanks.
you,
Yeah,
bro. And the beanie's on me for sure.
Oh shoot, man! This
Absolutely.
is great, man. You guys are great. Love the podcast. Great, meeting you, Andrew.
Absolutely. Same as well.
Great, Jay. Love you. Like, this was all great. July 28th, Madison Live, both floors. Dear Summer 2. We're going crazy. All right. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Just at Graval Baehr, follow me and stay up to date.
Absolutely,
Oh, dude, I'm
bro.
getting media passes.
Let's
Right
go.
now.
Let's get
It's
it.
gonna be a good time, man.
go.
Y'all are on the list.
All right, and if
know.
you have any posters, man, you can put them up here. We'll
Dope.
post them for you.
Dope.
And obviously we'll promote the show for you as well. So,
Hell yeah.
all right, everybody, it's gonna wrap up another episode of the PowWow.
Yeah.
Liquid Death, One Heart Medical, and Chef Brian Duffy. We appreciate you guys for sponsoring the podcast.
Yes, sir.
If you want to be a part of it, comment below or reach one of us in our DMs, and we can make it happen. But I guess this is going to wrap up another episode of the PowWow.
Yes,
So
sir.
until
Appreciate
next
y'all.
Tuesday, it's your boy Jay Banks,
Yeah.
AI.
Later.
We're out of here.
Later.
See ya.
Bye. Yeah.
That was
Sure done.
really didn't feel like
And we out.
3 hours.
Out here.